Hello! Hey guys! What do you think of the new transition for the GRcade thing? What I'm doing it like?
Should I tell you what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the old school Batman thing, the you know.
Yeah,
when it
that's kind of what I had the idea from. But I thought it'd be funny to do that.
Yeah,
like,
that was cool.
It hits the thing, and yeah. So anyway, guys, it is the GRcade Twitchcast. We are live, coming at you from the houses, or separate houses, I might add. So yeah, today we're going to talk about a few things. I believe this is episode 22. I'm Pedz, and I'm with Doom.
Hello.
There's no other guests here today.
Nope.
So we haven't got a lot to talk about. There are a few things we were going to talk about. We're going to talk about the Xbox event in London, which was the X019. We're going to talk about Stadia and Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Sword.
Sword, yes.
Sword.
Sword.
Sword and shelled.
Exactly. I want to know when Pokemon Helmet is coming out. Anywho, I thought we would start off with the Microsoft stuffs.
Yeah.
So, did you watch any of it live?
I didn't watch any of it live. No, I've been pretty busy the last few days and that, and I didn't get a chance to actually catch it live. But I've tried to be honest. I follow enough people on Twitter to kind of figure out what was going on. Like so.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I did watch some of it live, and then I can't remember what happened, so then I stopped watching it. So
yeah.
We'll talk about some of the stuff, not all of the stuff, because I haven't seen some of the latest stuff.
No.
Myself, I don't know if you have. If you want to talk about them, that's fine. But we'll start off with a new game by Obsidian.
Yes.
It is called Grounded. It's about a little boy who's very naughty, gets sent to his room. It's not. It's basically, from what the trailer showed, it was basically Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, just in the garden section. So it's basically, I think, it does look like kids are basically trying to survive in a garden, as I just said. And I kind of thought it would look interesting for the most part. But there's certain things that I'm not that interested in. Like there was like a building aspect that looked kind of like Fortnite, which kind of was like I'm not really that interested.
No.
And I actually enjoyed Fortnite way back when. I still love Fortnite Rebellion. I'm only and I think it's a survival game as well, which if there is, then my interest is pretty much none now. So
yeah,
what do you think? Do you see the trailer or?
Haven't seen the trailer, but again, seen like screenshots and people talk about it. And again, not really my kind of thing. Survival games are very hit and miss for me. The most survival I ever really get is playing Minecraft on like hardcore mode or hard mode or whatever it's called. So yeah, no, not super bothered by it. But at the end of the day, it's another Obsidian title. We know what they're all about. Should be.
Well, we know what Obsidian are about, but this is very different to what they're about. Normally, they're all RPG-y.
Yeah. But that's what I mean is like in terms of when I say I know what they're about. In terms of we know how good they are at putting a narrative into a game, and I don't think that will change with this style. I think they'll be able to like inject a narrative that will be compelling and very interactive in that. And it's just a question whether or not survival games are your kind of deal, like
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's a Game Pass. It's a Game Pass game.
Exactly. So it'll be something I'll try.
There's no reason why I won't try it. Exactly. Yeah. So not super excited about it, but there's no reason why I won't try it on release.
Yeah. Genual says Grounded looks interesting, but not really what I was expecting from Obsidian, which is a fair point. because Obsidian usually do stuff like Fallout and what have you.
Yeah.
And Outer Worlds.
Yeah. Did they give a specific date when it's out, or just a 2020 release? Spring 2020.
I think it was spring 2020, but if you signed up to the Xbox preview program, you have a chance of getting earlier access to it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Next up, we have Everwild, which is a game by Ray.
Yes,
they are finally making games again. This is two. Nah, to be fair, they did have a few on 360. I was just being a douche. I actually think visually it looks really fucking nice.
Yeah,
if you've seen anything of it?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, see a little bit of it, and it looks great. Looks great. I want do you think they haven't really? They've seen a few trailers, like a trailer in that, but they haven't, as far as I could see, they haven't really said a huge amount what type of game it's going to be. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the issue. It's like it looks nice. It looks really nice. I don't know if that's in-game footage. How much of it will actually stay the same?
Yeah. What do you think?
It doesn't show anything of gameplay. It just looks like an open world kind of game. But other than
here's my thing: have they struck a tune with the Sea of Thieves model, and they're kind of thinking, "Ooh, maybe we can use that type of open world model in this way." Do you know what I mean? So are we going to get another game built around that Sea of Thieves style, or is this totally different again?
Not because I have an issue.
Unique.
Yeah, it's not even that. It's just Ray have always been quite good at doing different things, and I think sticking to one specific style of game would just be a shame when they've come out with a new game. It'd be like, you know.
Well, yeah, for me, Sea of Thieves has got a uniqueness to it, and if they bring another game out that is just Sea of Thieves with a different skin, I'd be disappointed, because you start to split the player base then, because people would start playing that instead of Sea of Thieves, and then you split a fan base. You know, like you said, I hope they go down a different route, and you know, are able to maintain that you know, that fan base can play that game, that fan base can play that game. There's no, I don't really want that kind of crossover. What I would say visually, I'm getting inspiration, like that Sea of Thieves inspiration in that style of visuals, which I'm by no means unhappy about. That's a great way forward for me.
Sorry, I'm just reading what you know saying. They talked a lot about the experience, but not told us much about what the game is. Princess Mononoke look, yeah, I would agree with that. Kind of reminds me of like Zelda's style as well. I don't know about Breath of the Wild cell shading, but definitely mixed like that. But you know, same as that Gods and Demons game, whatever, Gods and Monsters.
Yeah.
Not sure they can do a slow build as they got away with Sea of Thieves. It needs to offer more out of the box.
Yeah. Yes, Sea of Thieves was a slow burner, which I'd agree with. You know, I as everyone knows who's listened to any of the past Twitchcasts, I'm a massive fan of Sea of Thieves, and I was a big defender of it from the beginning. I totally understand why people were like, "Oh, this game's empty," and I get that from the beginning. But I was more than willing to defend it. But I also agree that they don't want to make a habit of that. They've done it once with Sea of Thieves, and I kind of feel like they know they got away with that, but they also know that they probably won't get away with it a second time. So, you know, any future game that Rare release, they know they've got to bring the content from day one. So you know, I think they've learned their lesson with Sea of Thieves, and I think we're not going to see. I don't think we're going to see another situation like that. I think they're gonna bring the content day one. I think.
I hope so. I did enjoy. I enjoy Sea of Thieves, but I still do find it quite shallow. I think the experience for me has always been a multiplayer thing, and it's a lot of fun with people. Playing it on my own, I think personally I would get bored, but that's just me.
Yeah, and the game was built with
multiplayer in mind.
Multiplayer in mind, yeah. So there are plenty of people that find fun in doing it solo, and that's absolutely fine for them. But yeah, no, the game was built with multiplayer in mind, and like you said, that's where the fun is. As you know, little plug, as I've mentioned, I'm doing a 24-hour Sea of Thieves stream at the end of the month on the 29th. Let me quickly check. 29th of this month, which is a week Friday, for Macmillan Cancer Care. I've got a post up on GRcade and on my personal Twitter, so if anyone's interested and they can't find my post, just PM me or ask in chat and I'll post the link up in the chat. Just looking to raise as much money as we can. I think we're up to about £110, and that's great. Any more, that would be even better. And you know, if anybody can't donate, that's perfectly fine. If people can share the links and what I'm doing, either on the day or before, whatever, that any form of exposure would be great. But yes, the point is, with this 24-hour stream, my friend Lord Atten is we're teaming up to do it. He's actually coming down from Leicester. I've met him a few times now. You know, we're very good friends. He's actually coming down from Leicester and staying a couple of days at mine, and we're actually going to set the room up together. So we're going to be like kind of locked in. I say locked. We're kind of stuck in a room together. So the camera will be able to be on both of us, and we'll be able to continue what we're doing. But yeah, and again, I would never have gone with Sea of Thieves for a 24-hour stream if I was on my own. That would be, as you know, it would be tedious. It would be very, very tedious. With the two of us, it'll be fine. And as long as there's more than one of you, I find there's plenty to do in the game.
I suppose another thing is if you go for a galleon, it's not exactly the best thing to do 24 hours, but if you do go for a galleon, you can have other people play games with you, jump in and out throughout the 24 hours.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to do. Yeah, I don't think we're going to do the galleon because it is a bit hard to handle for 24 hours. That would be tedious, but we are gonna do a brig, so there'll be two of us controlling the brig. And again, like you said, the idea is if people want to jump in and out, as long as we trust them. I've had a few bad experiences with randoms jumping in from streams, trying to sabotage things. But as long as they're trustworthy and we know them, then yeah, we'll have people jump in and out of the brig. And then at the end of the stream, whoever's still watching by the end of the 24 hours, if anybody wants to jump on and cash in on all the stuff we've got,
I've already called it, man. I've already called it. No one else is fucking jumping in. I am jumping in.
So yeah, on top of the fact that we're doing 24 hours, we've also set ourselves the challenge of we're not allowed to sell anything until the 24 hours is up. So we've got 24 hours to spend on the seas with potentially hundreds of thousands of.
How are you doing it? Are you going to be doing 24 hours and then selling all the loot? Because then you'll be going for longer. Or you're going to do like 23 and a half hours and then spend the next half hour if you've got lots. Depending on how much loot you've got. If you've got shit tons, you might be selling for the next half hour.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. So it'll all be done in the 24 hours. So yeah, so if I mean, we're under no illusions. We're going to sink a lot probably because we're setting ourselves this challenge of not selling anything, which means we're going to have tons of loot, which attracts Megs, it attracts Krakens, and obviously it'll attract other players.
It'll attract other players because it'll be tweeted about constantly, so anyone who's in the server is going to gun for you. Yeah,
which is fine, because at the end of the day, we want this to be fun, and we're not going to get a ton of loot and then try and avoid combat, because then that's not fun. We're going to purposely put ourselves in stupid situations, so like at some point we've decided that we're gonna fill like top to bottom, as in every inch of the ship with gunpowder, every inch of the ship, and then we're gonna go and chase other ships around just because it just kills time, and that's regardless whether or not we got loot on board or not. We're just gonna do it. Do you know what I mean? So we're under no illusions. We are gonna sink a lot, but there's also a very strong chance that like we get maybe a lucky a lucky 3, 4, 5 hours of not getting sunk, and we build up a lot of treasure in that time. And if that happens to be towards the end of the stream, then yeah, we're going to be, we'll work it out that maybe half hour as the stream's about to end, we'll start to sell everything. Obviously there's with so much stuff to sell, and we're not doing a server takeover, which means it's just randoms in the server, there's every chance we get ambushed in the middle of doing that. But that's part of the fun of it. At the end of the day, we don't want it, we're not playing it safe, because that's boring. We want people to be like, okay, these guys are just being stupid, they've got loads of loot and they're chasing people with gunpowder on their ship. Like, do you know what I mean? That's the point. It's meant to be absolutely stupid. Like, it's just for viewership, innit? Like, at the end of the day, and if it entertains people and they're by default encouraged to donate or help us promote it in any way, then we're doing our jobs, So
yeah.
So yes, sorry, just thought I'd plug that there while we're already on the subject.
Well, next up is Sea of Thieves.
Is it?
Yeah, there was like some kind of monthly update or something coming, and it's they're adding in. The only thing I can remember, because I actually watched this live. Some of it I watched live. Some of it I tried to catch up on today. The only thing I remember from it is explosive shots. They shoot explosive barrels or something from your cannons to blow up other ships and stuff. Fire, is it? I knew it was something.
No, no, the explosives are correct. Because there's fire bombs. But you can catch fire now. As a player, you can catch fire.
Sounds fun.
Yes.
General says, now I'm on Gamepass, I may finally give Sea of Thieves a go. Well, if you do decide on playing Sea of Thieves, let us know, and then maybe we can jump in with it so you're not on your own. It's not as much. It's a lot of people
who real steep learning curve.
It is. I think a lot of people. To be honest, it's actually quite simple to start sailing, but a lot of people who started because there's no tutorial at all. They're like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. And then a lot of people who, this is what I hated about Sea of Thieves when it came out, is people like, yeah, there's no real tutorial, don't know how to do anything. And then in another thread, they're going, I love Dark Souls. Dark Souls doesn't tell you anything. You just go and do stuff. It's like, you fucking hypocritical twat. Ugh. I hate people. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, that, and I think there was stuff coming to the arena, which
There's
again,
I
don't, I've never done the arena, so I don't care.
The arena's good fun, I gotta say.
Hi Jeff.
We're not, by no means we're experienced PvPers. We're all about, especially when it's like concentrated, we can hold our own in a fight on, if we get ambushed, then we tend to be able to fight them off, or we'll get there in the end. But like when it comes to straight PvP, where that's all you're doing and that's the goal, where we avoid it a little bit, because that's not kind of what we're about. We're about kind of being pirates, and part of being pirates is ambushing and fending off other people. But we're all about like traversing the world, gathering loot, doing all the other bits. Like so. We're kind of well-rounded pirates. That's how I would describe us. But also there's a new Tall Tale, and it's based around the ship called the Ashen Dragon. So is some new threat that's the new Tall Tale is based around. So
nice. Is it a full set of missions, or it's just one mission?
I think it's just one new Tall Tale. So a Tall Tale is obviously a series of missions, isn't it? So it'll be a good, depending on the length of it, it'll be like a half hour to an hour's worth of Tall Tale. So maybe a little more. Could be an hour and 20, something like that worth of story.
Well, if me, Matt, and Grum get to it like the other ones, it'll probably last us about 4 hours. Even if it's only 10 minutes long.
I mean, I actually haven't still finished all the current Tall Tales. I think I've done 8 of 10 or 8 of 12 or whatever it is we got. I've done 8 of them, but we're actually holding off trying to do a little bit, because we thought, well, we might as well keep it for the stream now. Do you know what I mean? Like that, we might as well go and do the Shores of Gold, like during the stream, because then we'll get a genuine reaction.
Do it earlier on. Do it early on in the stream, because it's just so frustrating. If you do it all in one go, you're gonna get so frustrated with doing like the bosses. I can imagine. fucking Ray, why did you do that? So after that, there was Game Pass stuff. It showed a lot of stuff coming, a lot of stuff, that's going to be coming on the day. But the main things I wanted to mention that are coming that I think most people will like, not necessarily myself, is Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 2, 12, all the 13s,
15.
and 15 is coming to Game Pass. And I don't know if it's coming to Game Pass, but I also saw in a thing saying that Final Fantasy 14 is coming to the Xbox at some point.
Oh, that makes things real interesting.
Oh, it does. Also, the other games I would like to mention that's coming to Game Pass is Yakuza 0, Kiwami, and is it Kiwami 2 or 2 Kiwami? But either or, the Yakuza games are coming to Xbox. The 3 that's already out on PC, I think there's more. The PlayStation 4 now. I think they're up to like the 4th remaster. So yeah, they are the 2 series I'd like to mention coming to Game Pass. What about yourself?
Actually can't. There was so many games. I think it was the. Oh, hang on, I had it up then. I had the list of all the games there. I've lost them. Hang on, 1 second. Lost them all. Where's the list? There it is. Oh, also, if anyone hasn't got Game Pass Ultimate, I think Microsoft are doing an absolutely amazing deal at the moment where you get 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate for well, it's $1, but it'll be what, £1 basically.
£1.
And also you'll get members in selected markets, so the UK will probably be covered. You get a month of EA access, 3 months of Discord Nitro, which I actually don't know what it is, but
it's like a better
premium Discord.
Yeah, premium Discord thing.
And 6 months of Spotify Premium. That's nuts. That is nuts for £1. I'd just like to point out, Microsoft are bringing it. Like, they're finishing this generation real strong, and they've set themselves up for an amazing start to the next generation, because everything they're doing, it's all transferable. This Game Pass stuff, it's generational. It's a generational transition. It's not something that'll be stuck on the one. This is a permanent thing they're doing, and they're bringing it. With the games they're bringing out, the day one exclusives that you get, your Forzas, your Gears, all that, and you get the Ultimate versions now. They've announced that all their, well, not all, but like Gears, day one you got the Ultimate Edition. And I think a lot of their Halo, I think they've said that you'll get the Ultimate Edition day one. It's crazy. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like they know they're bringing it. That's all I can say is they are bringing it towards the end of this generation, and I reckon it's setting up real strong for the beginning of next gen. So,
It's gonna be interesting next gen, especially with all the both consoles must be backwards compatible. On top of that, there's PlayStation Now to go along with Game Pass. Though obviously PlayStation Now is not a good a deal as Game Pass in my eyes. It doesn't.
They don't even come close as far as I'm aware.
It could be better if they started introducing stuff of day one of the first party games. If they'd done that, then it would be more even keeled. But again, I'm not sure what it is with third party support and stuff. I don't know. I think it's meant to be alright, but I don't think it's good.
No. Also, one I found interesting that's coming is Rage 2. That's a game that's only been out, a few months?
I can't remember when it came out.
Rage 2 has not been out. Had been out for a while. Literally, I think it came out this year sometime, so it's been less than a year.
Rage 2 is a bit shit, to be fair. Is it? I thought it was supposed to be alright, just very different to Rage.
But the point I'm making is that it's, even the third party games, you almost don't want to buy them. You're like, there's certain games like your FIFAs and your Call of Duties, you'll buy them knowing that they'll never go to Game Pass. But your games like Devil May Cry, less than a year after it came out, it was only a few months after that came out, it was on Game Pass. So those type of games, your third party games, unless they're
I thought they had a
long-running series.
Danny Dyer voice pack for it. I hope that's a real
They
fucking
do.
thing, because
Yeah,
honestly,
no, it is.
that
I'm
makes the game
confused.
that makes the game stand out.
Yeah.
You don't get that. You don't get that in any other game.
There you go. General said that game, Rage 2, came out the end of May, and what, less than 6 months or just about 6 months later,
Yeah.
it's Game Pass. So, you know, I got to be honest. I'd say if I was, let's say I was looking forward to Rage 2, and I pumped money into that, and then less than 6 months later, I could have picked it up on Game Pass, which I also have anyway. I would have been a little annoyed. Same with Devil May Cry. A couple of months after that came out, or however many months it was.
Yeah.
Game Pass. Again, if I'd spent 50 quid on that, and because I'm already a member of Game Pass Ultimate, I would have been a bit annoyed by that. Do you know what I mean? So I can understand, you know, it is going to rub people up the wrong way. But you also can't deny, like, if a game comes out, a third-party game, like your Devil May Cry or whatever, and you're like, that looks interesting, I don't know if I want to spend the money on it. Now you can also think, you know what? Less 6 months' time, this is probably going to be on Game Pass, so I'll wait and play it then. Do you know what I mean? So it's just Microsoft. It's Phil Spencer and that, isn't it? Since he's taken over Microsoft with Xbox, gotta say they've been bringing it. I can't really say any more than that, really.
That's fair enough. Next up is a game called Bleeding Edge. This has been shown before. To me, it just kind of looks like Overwatch, but with even kookier characters.
It's Overwatch with physical weapons in it, like your swords and stuff.
Yeah, I've got no interest, to be honest with you.
No, those games are pretty cool, but you know, I like the idea of Overwatch.
Does it come to Game Pass?
Paladin. What now? Bleeding Edge.
Yeah, because it's a Team Ninja game, and Team Ninja are owned by Microsoft.
It's
Right, sorry guys, I have a little interest because it's free.
Yeah.
In a sense.
No, again, you know, I'll be playing it because it's on Game Pass. But yeah, no, I'm not super bothered by it. I think I put more hours into Paladins than I did Overwatch. But yeah, they're cool games. They're fun, but I think
with games like
replayability.
I think with games like Overwatch and stuff, the game for me would depend on who you're playing with. So
yeah, yes, exactly, it does. You're right.
What is next? Up next is Tell Me Why. I think it's called. It's Dontnod's newest game. Looking at there for the trailer, I watched the trailer live, so I can't remember it as well as what I should be able to, but my memory's shite. It looks like it'd be a similar style of game to Life is Strange. I think visually it's a little bit different. They haven't got the weird, like, almost Lego-like hair. For a start. I don't know exactly what it's about, but like I think it's something with a mother, and one of the kids is they're twins. I think they're meant to be identical twins, or just twins. I'm not sure which, but one of them is transgender, female to male.
Okay.
So I think it's around that. I think there's a bit of controversy around this as well because of in the transgender community. Sounds bad saying that, like, oh, they're, but you know what I mean. It was
the LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah, but what I mean is there's a bit of controversy because there's no transgender people working on the game.
Right.
I was like, does it matter? Because, you know, if it highlights and has a positive impact, isn't that a good thing? But at the same time, being a straight white guy, I don't understand, or I can't.
No.
I'm not in the same position as people who are transgender to have a direct sense of place when it comes to this kind of subject. Really.
I mean, yeah, I get that, but I'm more on the, again, without this going, this could easily become very, very political and causing all sorts of things. But you know, I'm more on the edge of, like, at the end of the day, they're highlighting something, and they're making people talk about it. which is what you want. You want that exposure for it, which overwhelmingly should be positive, regarding whether or not there was any transgender people working on it. Okay, even if there isn't, I'm sure they've done their research.
I think they did. They did consult a transgender agency kind of thing.
So, at the end of the day, without this, it's not really a discussion I want to be having in depth about it. But could you, and I'm just playing devil's advocate more than anything else, could you also start being nitpicky and say, well, this film is about black people? It was the director black? Do you know what I mean? It's like,
I think people do. I think Scarlett Johansson has played several different things.
Yeah.
And they've said she's just But at the same time, when it comes to acting, I kind of feel in a way that the whole point of acting is to act as things that you aren't. That is why you act. I don't know.
You're portraying a character.
Exactly.
Which isn't yourself, at the end of the day. But yeah, do you know what I mean? It depends on how aggressive the community is, because if a white guy goes and produces a film or directs a film that is predominantly to do with the black community, you are going to get people that will complain about that. How much they complain, it's all to do with how aggressive the community is on it. At the end of the day, you might have a film that's very female character led, very main characters are female. It's very what was that film about the women who worked in NASA, for instance? I can't remember what it's called.
I can't remember.
Yeah, but either way, it's all female led. It's all driven by females. I don't know who the director is. It might have been a female. I don't know. But if it was a male, do you get people going, well, that's wrong type thing? And this is just another case of that. At the end of the day, these guys, the people who've created this game, they're not stupid. The developer isn't stupid. They know if they got this wrong, they'd get slaughtered by the LGBT plus community potentially. So I'm sure they did the relevant research that was required, like you say, speaking to support groups, speaking to charities, speaking to transgender personal, that people might know transgender people that are willing to talk to them about it. I'm sure they did their research, but then you get, there's always that small, loud minority that will kind of ruin it for the rest of the community. Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of where I feel this will go down.
I think the point is what they're saying with this, though, is no one at all in there. It's like when you're on about the director, but if there's other people in the crew who are female or black or something, it's different, whereas no one there is. But I think my main, you were saying, I guess it depends on how they represent the community. Non-LGBTQ plus people should be able to write and portray LGBTQ plus characters, but they should also open themselves for criticism. They do a proper job of it, and I completely agree. Yes. But the problem is no one knows that, and already there's a bit of an uproar just because there was no one from that community in there. But my stance is if it's a good portrayal, and it highlights the community in a positive light, and it opens people's mind to people who are transgender, isn't that a good thing?
Yes,
that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Obviously, I'm coming from my perspective, and I am not transgender, so I can't. It's not really something I know a lot about to speak about that.
No, but at the end of the day, I like Cumberdane's response as well. No ancient Greeks worked on God of War. I, for one, am disgusted. With obviously you see the joke in that, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's one of those things that, as General said, if it's poorly done, the community has every right to be angry at it. Also, can I just ask, yes, it's reported that no transgender people worked on it. How do we know? I'm not being funny, and this is something I'm going to bring up later on with the Pokemon talk. Like, social media and the internet is the worst when it comes to sensationalizing
don't know.
stuff.
I
Exactly,
don't know if the
and this is what I
company
mean. It's
know,
all it takes is one person. Literally, we all know this. It just takes one person to send one tweet, and that happens to go viral, and before you know it, it's the truth. So I'm very skeptical on it, you know. And for all we know, maybe there were people who are transgender working on the game, but they just haven't come out to say that they are transgender. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you don't have to be openly transgender to be transgender. You might still be working on that in your own personal life type thing, and you're waiting for a good time to bring that up. So, do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm very, very skeptical about where this has come from, but this also shows you the potential. I'm not saying this is, you know, for all I know, it is correct and nobody transgender worked on the game, but we also know how dangerous the internet can be when it comes to
I think, I'm not sure where it's come from,
So-
but it's confirmed. It's supposed to be that they didn't have anyone working it, but they did use a they did seek advice and stuff from a very specific.
Personally,
place.
unless the developer comes out, like, and hey, if they have come out and said that and I've missed it, fine. But unless I see the developer actually say that, I don't trust shit. Do you know what I mean? I don't care who says what. If the developer hasn't confirmed it, and if they have, great. If they haven't, I don't trust anyone. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter who it is. I don't care. If it ain't the developer or the people, not even the people working for them. If it's not the official developer themselves, the guy who owns the company, any of them, no. I just, the internet's too dangerous. I'm not willing to accept that as a right. That is definitely happening, you know. So, but yes, either way, the point is, if they've done a good job, great. If they haven't, as General said, they should be open for criticism over it.
Yeah, no, I agree. So up next was Halo Reach is coming to the Master Chief Collection on December the 3rd.
Yep.
I tend to write bits and bobs down as I do these, as I keep saying, and all I wrote down was cool.
Yeah, cool.
I think it's coming to
long
Steam
time
and stuff
coming.
as well. I don't know if it is already or if it's coming at the same time. I don't remember, but I'm assuming, I'm not sure if you have to pay for it, if it's free, because they give you ODST for free for people who had the game originally, because they had to suffer with a really, 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 really bad launch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked Halo Reach. I'd like to play through them again, and I think as they come into the PC as well, maybe I'll play through them on when they're all out. Play through them on PC and see if someone wants up for some co-op at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a very big Halo fan, gotta admit. I would say, I think one of my ODST is one of those ones that's a little bit divisive, but I actually quite enjoyed playing that solo.
I really liked 3.
I thought
ODST.
ODST. I thought ODST was great, and I also really enjoyed Reach. I got to be honest; those two, I actually probably enjoy that. Halo 3 ODST, as in Halo 3 ODST, and Reach are the 3 games. They're the ones I actually enjoyed the most. I haven't played 4. No, I haven't played 5. I can't remember if I played 4. Played 1 and 2, and I got to be honest, I hated them. I absolutely hated them. They were I'm not personally. I was bored to tears. I hated the game. It was boring as all hell. I get maybe at the time it was awesome game. It was so boring. It was so lackluster. I couldn't stand it. I only got through it because I was doing it co-op. And I basically, my friend had to drag me kicking and screaming through the last bit of the game because I didn't want to play it. But he was like, well, you might as well finish it. And I did. Hated it. And then I got to Halo 2. It got a little bit better, but still not enough. It was only from Halo 3 that I was like, you know what? I actually really enjoyed Halo 3. 1 and 2, I can't stand them. Absolutely can't stand them.
3 is probably 3 ODST and Reach are probably the 3 favorites. I would probably go 3 ODST, Reach, 1, 2, 5, 4 in that order.
Cool.
Ooh, Gasm's raiding.
Well, hey, good stuff.
I don't know why there was no notification, but well. Next up, right. I'm probably like I might have a look at the game, but I've never, and I have played some of the previous ones years and years and years and years ago. But this kind of game, you need such a massive setup to really truly like get into it. I can't see me doing that, but this is one of the nicest looking games I've ever seen. You know what game I'm talking about?
Not on a flight simulator, are you?
I am on about Microsoft Flight Simulator. And it looks amazing.
Yeah.
It really does. If you look at the trailer they showed during the X019, damn did that look good.
Yeah. Is it PC only? I think it is, isn't it?
I think it's PC only and then come into the Xbox One at some point.
Got to be honest, not gonna lie. Like, you've got an X, I've got an X. I'm actually looking forward to playing that on my 4K TV on the X.
Yeah.
I think that could look great.
I can't believe how nice that game looks. It is is stunning. And it was, like I said, like, seriously, if you haven't seen the trailer from there, go look at the trailer after this, and you will be like, wow, fucking lovely game.
Yeah.
It literally looks like you're looking out of a plane. Well, I don't know, but it's lovely.
I can imagine that game would be great for VR on PC.
Jazam, I do not know when the last flight simulator came out. It's been a long time, though, I think.
I honestly, probably, could be 10 years?
Something like
that. I haven't heard of one in the last 10 years, so... not that I've been particularly following the series, but yeah, I think it's been a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking forward to that one.
What is it?
Age?
No. Yeah. Sorry, I was looking at something. I thought I saw something in chat. Sorry, guys.
No.
So yeah, next up we had Age of Empires 4.
Yeah.
Which, again, I think it looks like a really cool game. I think it looks really cool, and I like tactical games like it, but I just don't think I'd get into them now because they're so time-consuming just to do one fucking battle and stuff. While it's awesome to look at and shit, it's like, I just haven't got the time, and I just want to be playing games with stories and guess, you know.
I'm not going to lie. Like, I mean, as a kid, growing up, Age of Empires 2 was... that was a large portion of my childhood. That and the Total War games, Medieval Total War. Those two games I played so much growing up, like into my early to late teens and that. Those games were so cool. Especially Age of Empires. That's when I was that bit younger as well. First playing PC games, I just loved it. It was a real childhood favorite. So.
I believe Age of Empires 1 and 2 has been remastered as well. 2 quite recently as well, haven't they?
I was just about to say, 1, to see a new Age of Empires game is awesome, and 2, see Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition come out is awesome. But again, I see why it's not coming out for console, because strategy games traditionally are never particularly great on console. Halo Wars is pretty cool. You know, that kind of works on consoles, but the Age of Empires games are a very different beast. Although, you know, I'm not being funny, there is now keyboard and mouse functionality on the Xbox. There's no reason why they couldn't put it on the Xbox, and if they do, I'll buy a keyboard and mouse just to play that game.
I think it is coming to Xbox at some point, but don't quote me on that.
No, I can't see anything about it, but if it does, and they obviously, hopefully, will allow keyboard and mouse functionality, I'm doing that every day of the week. Doing that, very excited.
That's fair enough. Next, I've only got 3 more games on the list. That's as far as I got.
Yep.
Next up, we have Minecraft Dungeons.
Dungeons, yeah.
Yeah, so that's coming out in April 2020.
Yeah.
I think I might have some other dates down for games, but I can't remember. So yeah, this is coming out in April 2020. And like I was saying, it basically looks like Diablo, but with Minecraft stuff. I think it looks cool.
Not gonna lie, I think it looks awesome. I love Diablo.
Who needs Diablo 4 when you're going to have Minecraft Dungeons on Game Pass?
Again, it's a Game Pass release. That'll be definitely on release. I'll download that and play that. It's all about that. Love that. I played a fair bit of Torchlight 2 on the Switch. Played a lot of Diablo 3 on the Xbox. Played again Diablo 2 and the Lord of Destruction expansion. I sunk hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours during my from the age of 13 to however old I was, 13 to 15, maybe something like that, 16. Hundreds of hours into that game. Loved it. So I not gonna lie, really looking forward to this one, Minecraft Dungeons. Yeah, I love the look of Minecraft anyway. That kind of it's it's really pleasing on the eye. I like, and it's the same way I like Sea of Thieves visually, in terms of I like realistic games. They're great, but I find you've got to focus on them more because they're so realistic. You kind of you focus. You've got to focus on all the textures and everything. So I do consider it maybe a little more straining on the eyes, which it's fine because they look great. But you're having to you focus on those textures because they're so realistic. Where games are a bit more simplistic in style, but very, very, very pleasing on like you Sea of Thieves and that. They're just beautiful to look at, and you don't have to sit there and analyze you can just sit back, look at the bigger picture, and kind of just take it in. And it's a bit like that with this game. You can just sit back and just enjoy it. And so yeah, it's right on my street.
Yeah, I get it.
Yes.
So yeah, I know what you're saying. I like that's one thing I like. Nintendo's they don't do very extremely realistic games. They tend to do
nope.
But they just got this really nice visual style to the game.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot more than realistic
Breath
games.
of the Wild and Wind Waker are the same. Again.
So some games I don't think would I don't know. You might playing through Gears of War with everything looking like a cartoon. Actually, no, it'd probably look pretty. Never mind. Everything should be a cartoon.
I'm not gonna lie. If they did Gears of War in the style of that Sea of Thieves style, that'd be amazing. I think that looks so cool.
Yeah. Right. So next up we have, and also Minecraft Dungeons. I will be playing around release because it's on Game Pass, and I like the look of it. Next up, we have what many call a spiritual successor to the Fallout series. I think, don't get me wrong, I'm sure what happened was Wasteland was made. We talked about Wasteland 3. Wasteland was made, and then they couldn't continue to make the Wasteland. And then they made Obsidian. And then they made the Fallout games. And then many years later, another company made Wasteland 2. I think that's what happened. So now we've got Wasteland 3 coming in May 2020, right? May 19th, and I think it looks really cool. And like I said, a lot of people consider it to be the successor to Fallout instead of 3 because it's the same kind of view. It's very similar in how it plays. It's a lot more Fallout than Fallout. Yeah, Gino said, Fallout was the pseudo follow-up to Wasteland.
That's cool.
So it's funny. It's kind of gone full circle. The Wasteland is now seen as a follow-up to Fallout 2, which is crazy when you think about it. But yes, that is coming out in May. Are you interested at all?
No, not really. Gotta be honest.
No.
If it's a game, again, it's available day one with Game Pass. I'll try it. Yeah, but I'm not a big Fallout fan. I never played Fallout 3. Haven't played New Vegas, and especially New Vegas, I've told is the one that you really want to play. And I tried Fallout 4, and I could not get into it. Love Skyrim. But Fallout 4. But Fallout 4, I could not get into.
Yeah, I wasn't a massive fan. I tried getting it twice for about 18 hours overall, and it's the original Fallout games are quite different though. I would like to add that when we were talking about Fallout before, it did actually come out with a special edition disc with all the discs, all the games, a special edition and everything.
Yeah.
So it actually was a lot better sounding than than what we thought. Yeah. It wasn't just a digital download; it was all physical stuff.
I think I've disappointed Jawa by saying that Fallout I couldn't get into.
Yeah, I can understand, but it's Fallout 4. It's like it's considerably worse than 3 and New Vegas. So
Yeah.
you know,
And New Vegas was done by Obsidian, and I really enjoy it. I haven't played it much lately because I've been distracted by other games, but Outer Worlds is great, I'd point out. That is a great game.
yeah, a lot of people I think it's great, but I think a lot of people would still play New Vegas in a lot of ways. So
Yeah.
next up for me, this is the last game I have. I don't know if you have any more than this. I do have one other thing to talk about after this from the show, but no game. It was a game called Kartrider. I saw it.
Yeah, I saw something about this.
It just looked like a crap. Honestly, it's no Garfield kart, so I'm not interested.
Yeah.
When I saw this live, they actually were like, yeah, this massive game, there's millions of players, and it's like no one, like even people in the Mixer chat and stuff are like, what the hell is this? I've never even heard of it. It turns out it's really big in Korea.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
So
I had a funny feeling you were going to say that.
Yeah, so it's you know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like Korean people are not gonna like it, are gonna like stuff that I wouldn't like. I was saying because it's a Korean developed game, I believe. Like it might be big there, but like I think they do it as a kind of like PR thing. Look, it's massive. You're gonna love it. But like when no one's really heard of it, it kind of fallen on deaf ears, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess
It'll be interesting.
But yeah, it's no Garfield kart.
Also, talking about games that are coming to Game Pass, Kingdom Hearts. I forgot about that. That's coming to Game Pass.
Yeah. I didn't count. I included that in the Final Fantasy series. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got Final Fantasy characters in it.
Yeah.
And Disney characters.
So I think, yeah. Just thought I'd add in there. I think that's really cool.
Sorry, I missed the music that's playing. Right, so next up, have you got any other games you want to speak about first from the show?
Just having a little look. Don't think so. No.
Right,
Not
if there's anything,
games, no.
If there's anything we missed, then we apologise. But life gets in the way.
Sadly, it does.
It does. Right, anyway, next up is from there that I want to speak about was Project Xcloud.
I'm glad we're talking about this.
I thought this would be a nice way to talk about this and then segue into
Google.
the next thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Right, so right. Let's start by saying this actually looks rather good.
Yeah.
It actually sounds promising. It actually sounds very decent. And I was watching a video that was posted earlier of outside Xbox and Xbox On, and they were playing their Xbox games on the Android phones around London, and it's like, that looked really cool, and it seemed to work fine as well. So that's really cool. And I think there's like 50 games available at the moment. They're inviting new people. I haven't been invited. I'm very disappointed.
Sorry, could I just point out, I've literally, just before we started the Twitchcast, I got my email saying I've been invited into the preview program for it.
Oh, you lucky bastard!
So I'm going to be all over that like a pig in shit. So I'm looking forward to it. Also, one of the 50 games, as far as I remember, one of the 50 games is Sea of Thieves. Playing that on my mobile, I'm all about that. All about playing Sea of Thieves on I've got a tablet, I've got a phone. I'll try it on the PC. I'll try it on everything. Yeah, all about that. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I haven't had an invite, so I won't get it. I will obviously wait like. But I'm not impressed with that actually.
What I would say is, Google were very.
I don't think he's allowed to share insider information on the Xbox on the Xcloud. I think it's a DM
not allowed
thingy majiggy. DM run DMC on it. Something like that.
run DMC. Yeah, and DNA. I wouldn't be allowed to say anything, even if. I'll just say good or bad type thing. I as long as I don't give away too much. But Yeah.
So yeah,
No,
one of the very
just saying-
first things that people I've been saying a lot of is, yeah, Stadia's already dead.
yeah, like I was going to say we might as well talk about this together instead of trying to segment them, because they are kind of talking about a very similar thing. And what I was going to say is Google were very, very, we knew Microsoft were working on cloud gaming. We knew that they were, even before Google said anything about Stadia, but they were very quiet about it. They were like, yeah, we're working on it. We're just seeing how it works. It's kind of nothing much. Then Google came out and was just like real loud about it. They're the one who made the big fuss about it. They're the ones like, we're taking this to the next level. We're doing this, doing that. And then, so it almost looks like, unless you were like switched on and watching, it kind of looked like Microsoft were kind of like catching up to Stadia, because they were like, oh, well, we've got our announcement now just after Stadia. So it did look a little bit like Microsoft were following, like kind of chasing them. But Microsoft have been working on this for years, and they've just been quite quiet about it. They've mentioned it here or there. Not last E3, the year before that. They very, very like briefly talked about it. So, and I think even the E3 before that. So we're talking like 3 E3s ago. They were talking about it. So it probably has been developing for years, because it's such a big idea that they're working on. But yeah, with Stadia making this big claim, these big bold claims about it. Yeah, it's going to be the big thing. We're going to absolutely smash this out the park. Nobody's going to be able to touch our levels of performance, this and that. And then they go and fuck it up. They go and fucking. They just, I don't know how they go and fuck that up big
There's
time.
people on GRcade, well, one person I know of, who's Gore, and they're saying they haven't even got their activation key. The Stadia thing turned up a day late, and they still haven't got the activation keys. They can't even fucking play it.
Yeah, and then we're not even talking about at the moment. We're not even talking about their business model, which is shit. When you look at what Microsoft are doing.
When it was first shown, it genuinely looked interesting to me. It did.
Yeah.
I actually said to you...
Didn't you pre-order it?
I did. I cancelled it.
Yeah.
But I looked at it and it
you
sounded
got it
interesting. If it worked as good as they said it would at the time, it would have been... I read it would have been really good. But more and more details came out about the pricing structure, about all this other shit. And then I cancelled it. And then hearing about all the issues now, it's like, thank fuck I cancelled it.
Yeah.
And I saw a GIF. Someone posted on Twitter, and it's like, this is all I have to say about the experience. And he presses jump or something on like a pad, and then he presses jump, lifts his hand up, and then all of a sudden the character on the screen jumps. And it's like, wow, the latency is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I thought Stadia was going to be. It was going to be more of like you can buy games, or you can have with the subscription you would get like a Netflix style model.
Yeah. But they like Genuine said, they've literally combined the both, and they've ruined so. Originally, they said you don't have to sign up to the subscription, but if you don't, you get their standard streaming service, which would be 60 frames at 1080, I think was the max it would go to. And then they said, but if you go for the subscription service, which is how much a month?
10 or something? I don't
say a 10
I can't remember now.
Yeah, it'll do up to 120 at 4K. So, okay, fine. But then they were saying you're also going to get games included in that subscription, they said? Something along those lines?
I think so, yeah.
And then on top of that, even if you pay for that subscription, they're still charging you for the games. And the prices on the games are fucking disgusting. Like, sorry, I've sworn. I try not to swear on the Twitchcast where I can. But fuck me. What are they playing at? Like, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. It was in dollars. $40 for a game that's been out for like... I could walk into Game right now and pick a brand new copy of that for like 20 quid. Do you know what I mean? It's like... And that's if I wanted to do that. I could go on Facebook Marketplace and buy that thing for like... a tenner. Do you know what I mean?
Jawa is saying, hey, I've seen the stories about lag on Stadia, but I think they're the exception. Digital Foundry... Yeah, but the thing is where you're saying Digital Foundry painted a thingy, that's only one source compared to multiple sources saying how bad it can be.
Thing is, though, you've got to look at the broad picture. At the end of the day, Digital Foundry are going to be using rigs. Well, I say rigs. They're going to be using real high quality internet to be able to run those games to the best of their abilities. So they're going to have like 1 gig internet connections. They're going to have
the person who
everything's-
posts the GIF that I saw of someone doing it was an actual journalist who was doing a review on her as well. I think it was like a proper games reviewer. So it's not like they wouldn't have decent stuff themselves, and yet they still added quite a big bit of input lag. So whether it's the exception or not, well, you can trust Digital Foundry more than GIF images, but it's a GIF from an actual person doing a review on the product. Legitimate person doing it, like.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, at the end of the day, you got to look at the whole picture. You're going to have people that are going to say it's, you're going to have people from one end of the spectrum have a bad experience, and you're going to have people on the other end of the spectrum having a good experience, and there's going to be a lot of people in the middle.
Exactly. A Digital Foundry tend to have, controlled environments and stuff. So I'm assuming it would maybe be better for them than others. I can't say that's internet based.
To be honest, the real test will be how well does it perform on like a 4G connection when you're outside on your phone, like that. At the end of the day, I'm at home right now. I got a 500 gig download and a 500 meg download and 100 meg upload, like, and that. And even so, if I connect anything Ethernet, do you know what I mean? It's too easy. It'd be way too easy for me to either Xcloud.
The thing is with things like Stadia, even Xcloud, it will not be to do with speed. It will be due to ping or something. I can't remember the exact word.
Latency and that. Everything, as you can imagine, everything for me is very, very low, very, very quick. But
also,
the point I'm making is that I will test it on an Ethernet, connected to the Ethernet, but I'm also going to connect it wirelessly. And most of the point, I'm going to take it out and try it on my phone on my 4G connection, like that, and then I'll be able to tell you if it's any good. And I think that's the real test. Is it's all well and good for me to sit here with an Ethernet connection into a 100 meg upload speed with low ping, but I'm going to test it outside as well, and that will be the real test. So we'll have to see how it goes,
Yeah, another thing is the games that are supposedly 4K and like 120 frames per second have actually been 1080p upscaled. And
so it's not true 4K.
Yeah, so it's not true 4K, and they've been running at 30 frames per second. So I'm not sure. Red Dead Redemption 2 is they say basically Stadia is meant to be faster, 80% faster than the Xbox One X, yet it runs at 1440p. I'm assuming the Xbox One X runs at a higher resolution and 30 frames per second. So you think it would do a higher thing?
Yeah.
And if you look at it, you can see visually it's nowhere near as nice as the Xbox One X version.
Yeah.
So there are a fair bit of issues. The pricing is fucking shot. Gee.
Yeah, I mean, Jar was right. Xcloud looks great, but we'll be surprised if the performance is that different to Stadia. And you're right, exactly. At the end of the day, it's all going, like, at the end of the day, you're having to stream to and from data centers regardless. And at the end of the day, Google have got data centers in the UK, so have Microsoft. So there's going to be very, very little difference. So I
remember looking at a site. If you clicked on the site, it would show you your latency between the platforms, and I found that Xcloud's thing was a lot faster than Stadia's.
There is how, there is to do with optimization as well. At the end of the day, you've only got to look at Mixer. Look how seamless Mixer works compared to Twitch in terms of latency. Like,
the person reviewing the game was actually from the Washington Post. I don't know if that counts as a reliable source.
Well, so Microsoft
on their they have a gigabit Ethernet connection, and there's a good few seconds lag. So
yeah, but I mean, Jar was broadly right there in terms of like the technology is very, very similar, but I mean, there is going to be differences. At the end of the day, like I say, Microsoft, you've only got to use Mixer compared to Twitch. Look how there's no latency. Where Twitch, even on its best performance, there's still a good, like, you know, I don't know, 10-second, you know, latency thing. Mixer, it's almost instant. So whatever they're doing to find a way to drop that latency down to almost nothing is. There's some technology there which I'm sure they're going to use in their streaming services for gaming as well. But yeah, you know, at the end of the day, you are right. If it comes down to how good your connection is to the server, at the end of the day, if your connection ain't great, then you're going to have problems. Yeah, I'd agree as well. You know, it is.
Another thing is, though, is while I agree with Jara as well, Microsoft are inviting people into Project Xcloud preview, and Google have basically charged people £100 odd, $120 or whatever to beta test it.
Yeah, I mean, put it this way.
Also buy game. Like, it's not like you go use you give me £120, use my pad, use a thing, use your subscription, and there's a couple of games. No, you have to buy games on top of that to play one.
Yeah,
and also it doesn't run as good as we said it was. It upscales. It's lower frame rates. It doesn't visually look as nice anyway. So,
yeah, my main issue is the business model. You know, the technical side of it, fine. You know, if you have a bad time, you have a bad time. But for me, the big one is the business model. At the end of the day, Google, like you said, there was very little preview, if nothing. They're charging you a lot of money to get invested in this anyway, and then they're asking you for a subscription service if you want to do 4K, and then they're asking you to pay like $40-50 for games that've been out for like over a year, sometimes 2 years. You know.
Then again, it's the same on Switch.
You're having a bad experience.
The new game comes out and they're charging that much as well. So I think that would be that's something that would happen. Due to it being a new platform and shit, but at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, with xCloud, basically the only requirement was, have you got an Android phone? Yes, which I do. So I signed up. They're giving me for free as part of the thing. So I've got Project Xcloud for free, which will do, as far as I'm aware, it will do 4K without a subscription right now, and I've got 50 games to play with no charge whatsoever. And they've said I can do it not just on my phone. They said I can do it on my laptop as well. Like they said, as long as you've got the Xbox app, just log in to the xCloud part of the app, and it will work on any device that's got that. So for free, I've been given 50 games and still the ability to stream at 120 frames a second at 4K, which my laptop can't. Like, I don't have a 4K screen on my laptop, so it makes no difference. But the point is, it's there, and they're not charging me anything for it. And then even when they do charge, like, what you got to remember with xCloud is they're doing it in two ways, which I think is pretty cool. You've got Xbox streaming, and you've got like xCloud. In terms of for free, if you own an Xbox One, you can stream any game you own. You can stream it using your Xbox as the data center. So as long as if I Etherneted my Xbox in, I've got a strong upload and I've got very, very low ping, very, very low ping. So I'll have a strong connection there, so I could stream. So I literally use the Xbox as the data center, and there's no charge for that whatsoever. So my phone, my laptop, anything, I can do that for free. And then the xCloud, I want to say it's if you have Gamepass Ultimate, the xCloud's included in that anyway. And do you know what I mean? It's like the point is look at the deal you're getting compared to this. It's just there's no comparison in terms of their business model. Google have fucked up. You can't sugarcoat it. They have fucked up. Technical specs aside, they can improve that. Like they put their eggs in this basket, and
they can improve a lot of this stuff. It's just are they going to be willing to improve it? Like I was looking at the games, right? Most of the games are $60, right? So you've got Assassin's Creed Odyssey, $60, but it's $30 if you've got Stadia Pro. Mortal Kombat 11 is $60, $42 with Stadia Pro. The rest of the games are all like the prices without the the Stadia Pro deal, apart from Final Fantasy 15, which is down from 40 to 30. Tomb Raider 2013, which is down from 20 to 10. And Mortal Kombat 11 and Assassin's Creed Odyssey down from 120 to 60. And Mortal Kombat is 89 to 62.99. So, like half the stuff most of the stuff hasn't even gone off. At Samurai Showdown, $60. Thumper, $20. Yeah, fuck. No, man.
It's crazy. And as I said, as part of the preview, I've been given 50 games. I include one of those is Sea of Thieves. So you know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm hitting Sea of Thieves on my 4G connection when I'm in work to see if it works,
Google needed something. Sorry, Junior Will said Google needed something to. Sorry, the chat just scrolled it up. Google needed something to think of. Google needed to think of something to answer the question: why should I buy into this over many other ways I currently have to play? For most people, Stadia just doesn't have a compelling answer to that question at this point in time, and I agree. I was actually, like I said, I was interested before, and then it just no.
Yeah. Thing is though, here's a very good example of why. Yeah, even the Xcloud thing. I love the fact that I've been invited into the program, and I'm very, very excited to give it a go. Tomorrow I'll be giving it a go onwards, so that's great. But for instance, about a week ago, something like that, I was playing a game on my Xbox. I think it was Assassin's Creed Origins. I think I've been trying to get back into that, and then Pokemon came out, and that blew that out the water. But anyway, playing that, and while I was playing, what I didn't realize is my router restarted because it had an automatic update that downloaded Virgin automatically, like update the routers and that. So
I think most do now.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. So I didn't realize that was happening, which meant my internet was down for about half an hour, something like that, whatever it was, while it updated, because it couldn't. So for the time it took to download the update, install it, and then restart the router, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever it was. For that entire time, I wasn't even aware that the internet was down until the very end when I looked, and I realized then it was about, it must, like, I saw my last few messages that had come through, and it was about 20 minutes, half an hour. For that entire time, I was still playing the game, totally unaware. Like, if that happens when I'm in the middle of a game while streaming, lights gone out. That is it. And I could have been in the middle of something. That is a very good reason why streaming has to do. I don't know how they have to do it, but they've got to do something to avoid that. Which I don't think realistically, off the top of my head, I don't think you can avoid it. But that will happen. You router restarts for whatever, and you have anything.
The game goes into like a pause kind of thing, kind of like when you go to the dashboard on the Xbox.
Yeah,
it does that, and when you connect back on, you somehow connect the game. I don't know how they would do that, but that's what they would do.
No. That exactly. But then again, are they going to leave the game paused? Like, what if your internet goes down for like 3 days? Does the game will it just pause for 3 days until you come back on? They're questions. But you see what I mean? It was seamless. I didn't even realize, and then all of a sudden I reconnected to the Xbox Live. I was like, oh, there we go, all works fine, and I was still playing Assassin's Creed. Like, I'm excited to try it. I'm looking forward to that. But given the option, if you said to me next gen, do you want to go stream and it'll be cheaper because there's no console, or do you want to spend $300-400 quid on a console? Still buying the console, still buying the games. I don't buy games physically anymore. I buy them digitally, fine. But then I own Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I was playing digitally, but that was downloaded to my console, no problems. Do you know what I mean? For me, the streaming thing is still not. Like, they've got to figure that out first. What if your thing gets interrupted?
No, I get what you're saying. I do.
Until maybe the future is 5G, 6G, 7G, whatever it is, because you need a permanent connection wherever you go. So, do you know what I mean? And at the moment, I can go anywhere. There's very little places. In fact, in terms of South Wales, in terms of the major places, obviously if I go to the arse end of nowhere at the valleys, I'm not sure about that, but you know, I go back and forth. Obviously, I live in Barry. I travel back and forth to Cardiff all the time. I go to Bridgend a lot. I go to Swansea a fair bit. During the whole trip, even when I say driving, I'm not driving, but I'm using my phone while someone else is driving. I never have a break in my 4G connection, you know, so I can maintain everything. When it gets to the point where 5G is is everywhere, 100%, like, or almost 100% coverage, that's when I think you're going to have maybe more of a chance at this. But I think to rely on your router downstairs, I don't see it. I don't see it. I think we got to go 5, 6, 7G before streaming really makes sense. You know.
One successful hacking attempt and everyone's forced to put down their controller. Matt said, can't wait for one day the servers die and no one can play any games.
Well, it's funny that Matt says that, actually, because what if somebody, because there will be people that do it. There are going to be people that are going to be all in on Stadia. There might be only a few, but some people might go all in on Stadia. They get rid of all other consoles. They pump all their money into Stadia, and they're having a good time of it. Maybe they're one of the ones having a good time. They're having very low latency. They're having a great time. They're invested in the games. They got the Pro. They got all this and that. They spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds on games, maybe even thousands. Let's say in like a year's time, 2 years' time, whatever it is. What if Google go, oh, you know what? This gaming thing ain't for us anymore. We're pulling out. You've lost everything. You've lost everything.
Pulling out don't work, guys. Trust me, pulling out don't work.
I can vouch for that as well. Don't worry about that. But like, do you know what I mean? At least when Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo say their current console, we're putting it to rest. We're not developing for it anymore. Great, fine. Even the games that I've bought digitally, they're installed on my console. So even if I come back in 10 years' time, 20 years' time, and I fancy playing my Xbox One again, it's all there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? Like, what happens when, like, and so at least with Xcloud, with Microsoft, you can't really see Microsoft going anywhere in the next, like, where Google, they've got a little bit of a habit of pulling out of things when they don't, when the novelty wears off.
Yeah.
At least Microsoft, they've been around the gaming market long enough for you to go, you know what, they're probably not going to do that to us. Google, they're fresh-faced. They could afford to pull out.
Honestly, I genuinely think Microsoft may have considered pulling out of the console race had this generation continued the way it started for them.
Yeah.
But
again,
Phil Spencer turned it around from, and honestly, I think doing really bad have been a fucking really good thing for him, because it's pushed them to doing some nice new things. Like, and I think that's one of the best things about a company doing quite badly. It's like the Wii U was a great console, but because done badly, they focused in on the Switch, which personally I would have rather the home console, but it seems to have done wonders for Nintendo with combining the two handheld and the home console market to one thing, so they get more games and blah 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 blah, and it's doing well. So
yeah, exactly. You know, at the end of the day, you always find usually the company that did the best in one generation tends to fall behind in the second. Like if you look at the PS2, absolutely blew the water, blew everything else out of the water. Then you get to the PS3. Yes, okay, eventually towards the end of its life cycle, they eventually kind of caught up to Microsoft. But look at the shit they went through. Like for the main part of the generation's life. You know, apart from the fact that people were struggling to develop for the console, look at how Skyrim turned out. You know, it took ages for them to get that working properly. The price, they you know, it was way too expensive. They really messed up. And then look at Microsoft. Look how they did with the 360. Yes, they had their problems, but let's be fair. You know, Microsoft won that generation. Yes, eventually the PS3 came back eventually towards the end, but I
honestly think the PlayStation 3 would have done a lot better if it wasn't so hard to develop. It was a console that was ridiculously hard to develop for, but it was also extremely overpriced. I got one with a phone. I had my phone contract, and it's like, oh, you can have a PlayStation 3 as well. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
and then it broke.
Oh, there you go. But that's what I'm saying is, basically, you tend to find the company that does well in one generation gets a bit too comfortable, and then they screw it up. Look how so the 360 done amazingly. Look how badly they messed up at the beginning of this generation. They messed up big time because they got comfortable. But now that they've had to play catch up, at the end of the day, if they hadn't had to play catch up, we wouldn't have had Game Pass, we wouldn't have Xcloud, we wouldn't have the fact that they've bought. Look at all these game studios they've bought. They're all games that we're getting day one on Game Pass.
This is the thing, though, is it's Microsoft's fault. That department is their fault. They've lost so much because they near the end, like last year or two of the Xbox life cycle or something, maybe even longer. They started selling off all this shit and started focusing on like Kinect and all that, and they really went on a wrong turn.
Yeah. Again, it's just they were confident. They got overconfident. They got too comfortable, and look where it ended. Look where they ended up. You know, they fell, and even now, you know, and they're never going to catch the PS4. It's too far gone. But look how strong. I'm genuinely excited for next gen because look how strong Microsoft are going to start it. You know full well they're going to turn on and go the Xbox 2, whatever they're going to call it. Day one, Game Pass Ultimate. There you go. There's all your games, and plus all the new games we're creating for that new console. Yeah, they're day one. You can have them as part of Game Pass. They're gonna. I honestly think they're gonna smash this out the park at the beginning of next gen. I'm not gonna say Sony won't do well. I'm just gonna say I think Microsoft, because I think they knew even 2 or 3 years ago they knew they lost this gen, so they thought, you know what, we're gonna put all our R&D now into next gen, and I think that's what they're doing. I think they're gonna smash it out the park next gen.
Yeah, so, I hope so. Like I say, it's all I like the competition between them all because it means that we keep getting good stuff. And I think people are like, oh, this console's better. It's like, get a grip.
Yeah, I mean, Jawa says here, Microsoft do seem to be working harder than Sony right now, even though I do absolutely love the PS4. To be honest, if it was up to Sony probably doesn't. Let's be fair, if Sony had their way, they don't want the generation to end. They'd be quite happy if, for some reason, the generation didn't end for a few more years because, well, why would they?
Technically speaking, is it next gen already? Because the Switch came out and that was the successor to the Wii U, which was same generation as the PlayStation,
Nintendo
4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, the Nintendo.
So technically speaking, Nintendo. Well, it's not about the generations are specific.
Yeah,
I like generation. Like I think the Nintendo Entertainment System and that's well like Generation 4 or something, Generation 3. So it was all like, you know, that kind of thing. So what is the Switch then? Is it?
Well, yeah. I mean, maybe you're right.
I was laughing earlier because I saw Jin Will post something and he said, if Nintendo had kept home and portable as two separate systems, they could have doubled the Wii U ports. That's great. So yeah, when it comes to Stadia, I think
they got to sort their business model out.
They got to sort something out badly because it's pretty shitty.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
So we were going to talk about one other thing. It's called Pokemon Sword Shield.
Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield. I currently have been playing Pokemon Shield. I have done 3 gyms. I've only played it for about 19 hours, I think.
Okay.
I think my highest level Pokemon's like level 35, I'm going to say. Something like that. So yeah, I'm quite enjoying the game. But
I was going to say, do you want me to update you on where I am in comparison? Just to give people an example of how you play the game, if the different ways you can play.
How you want to play the game if you've got a problem with spending too much time grinding when you really don't need to in this game.
Yeah. So obviously, I've literally, if anyone be following me on Twitter, they'll literally, you'll see exactly where I am. I've just done the 4th gym. and I've got to the 5th gym. I haven't done it yet, and I won't do it yet. I've got 30 hours into the game, and all my Pokemon are over level 50 now. I say all, like all the Pokemon I'm using are over level 50 now. I think they're
It's
like
called all
51,
400 odd
52,
Pokemon. They're all level 50.
yeah, I've grinded every Pokemon. But no, I've got my team up to level 52, 53, something like that. And I haven't finished yet. They're going to be grinded up. I'll probably get them to 55 before I do the next gym. And I'm not going to lie. Obviously, this Pokemon game has been very divisive. The reason why I just wanted to compare with how you've done it is because the point I'm trying to make here is, if you want to smash the game, some people are claiming they've smashed it. They've done the whole game in 14 hours. Great for them. That's great. Then you got people who are, Pedz just said he's done 19 hours and he's coming up to the halfway mark. I've just literally gone over the halfway mark and I'm 30 hours in. It just shows you, if you want to play the game that way, you can. But there just seems to be I don't really know how to describe it. I don't want to use the word toxicity because that's used way too often these days. But there's I don't really know how to describe it. It's just there seems to be a lot of people with their own opinions about how you should play the game. Maybe I'm not describing it very well, but
honestly, my biggest issue with a lot of people is not so much they saying this is how you should play the game, is they saying I don't like the game, it's not what I want, therefore no one should like the game.
Yeah,
no one should want it. That's the biggest issue.
Yeah. I mean, like for instance, I've had people like DM me on Twitter as well, kind of be like, why when I say why are you playing it, like people are like, why? Yeah, pretty much people are like, why are your Pokemon level 50 at like gym 3 or gym 4, whatever I was, well, they were level 50 at gym 3, just to give you an example. Why are your Pokemon at that level? Like, you don't need to grind anymore. It's been streamlined. It's done this, it's that. You don't need to do that. Why, it's no fun one-shotting things. But people are, so I kind of feel like people are kind of judging me because that's how I want to play the game, which is ironic because the game is there to be played how you play it. At the end of the day, if I want to play it backwards, I should be able to play it backwards, type thing. If I want to play the game laying upside down, I should be able to do that as well. But people have been very judgy with me over the way I'm playing it, and it's only because you've got people able to do the game in 14 hours apparently. I haven't, at the end of the day, people are claiming.
I know
it,
my
but nobody's
brother-in-law
posted their save
was
file.
when my kid was down his nan's house on Saturday. I think it was Saturday, and he got the game Friday, I think, and he'd finished it by Saturday.
Yeah, and if you want to do that, that's absolutely
See,
fine. But
me,
I don't understand. Sorry,
like-
I don't understand why people need to question my way of playing it and tell me that I don't need to play it like that. It's like, that's great, but I want to. And my personal thing is, the reason, yes, I get a lot of pleasure out of taking on gyms and one-shotting them, because that's my payoff for working hard to grind my Pokemon. Like, you've got two ways of playing that game. You either keep your level similar to where you need to be and have a hard-fought battle at the gym, or, which is fine, absolutely fine if you want to do that, or you do it the way I like to do it, or you go in under-leveled and really challenge yourself. That's also fine. You get a lot of satisfaction out of that. Or you do what I do, and you take your time, you go and grind. I spend a lot of time in the wild area doing a lot of raids. You grind your Pokemon up.
Do
and
raids
they're
actually
all buffed.
give you XP then?
No, they don't, but they give you candy, which gives you different size candy, which gives you experience. So it's actually really handy, because I'll go in with a strong Pokemon. It won't get over leveled compared to the rest of my team, but I can do a load of raids. That gives you a load of candy, and then I can use those candy to distribute to the Pokemon that I want. So it's actually very handy. But you do it that way, which I enjoy doing. I get all my Pokemon up strong, and then I enjoy hitting the gyms and wasting them, because I'm like, that's my payoff for working hard in the way I do it. So there's my enjoyment. But why people seem to have to go, the game streamlines, you don't need to grind anymore. Why, do you enjoy, do you still enjoy one-shotting the gym? Yes, because that's my payoff. I
don't think everyone's going to judge you like that, but some people are going to be...
I never said everyone. I never said everyone.
No, I know that, but that's fair enough. But I'm like, some people are going to question it, not because they've been dicks or anything, but like, it's like, because they so used to, like me, I play the game just however I feel like playing it at the time. And to me, I don't think I'd enjoy it as much going into a gym and just go to the gym leader.
No,
but
that's fine.
That's fine. But for me, I would say to you, don't you think you'd enjoy playing it where you actually have a hard fought battle with the gym leader, because it's like that's the challenge of the game.
Yeah.
In a sense, that like, but at the same time, I wouldn't say to you, don't play it that way.
No.
But some people may say, oh, do you still enjoy the game one shot and something? Because for them, it's a concept that, not so much a concept, but for them, like they used to doing it in a specific way. Like if you're enjoying playing that game that way, play the game that way. But
exactly,
some people are going to be like, well, try something different if you wanted to. Like,
yeah.
Then there are other people, dickheads, who are like,
don't.
You fucking dickhead! Don't do that. Do this.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, if somebody said to me, "Oh, why don't you? Have you tried playing the game this way?" Nobody's done that. They just question straight away. That's the difference. Yeah, I get what you mean. If somebody said to me, "Have you had a go at playing the game another way?" I'd go, "No," because I haven't. This is my first playthrough, and this is how I treat my first playthroughs. Is I'm very methodical. I'm very slow. I grind. It's just the way I like to do things. But yeah, people haven't made those suggestions. They just telling me that I don't. Why are you doing that? Like, well, because I want to. It's not hard.
Cricket said he'll be disappointed if you don't challenge the league with level 100s.
No, and
I bet he's serious as well. You better get to level 100, man, if you want to have a cricket. He's already unhappy with you because of Skies of Arcadia.
Oh, don't. You'll turn the whole chat against me if you bring that up.
Yeah, I understand that, but I think, people are saying, Junior was saying he stopped playing Bloodborne because people coming in and judging and telling him how to play the game, and like a lot of people saying like they enjoy being overpowered in RPGs. Saying he enjoys being overpowered in RPGs because you haven't got time to replay sections. Matt says being over leveled is basically a thing you can do in just about any RPG.
Yeah,
I agree. I like to be a little bit OP, like a little bit higher level, but not too much. There's still a bit of challenge there, but but at the same time, I haven't got the time. Well, it's not that I haven't even got the time. If I wanted to, I could spend a lot of time grinding. I just haven't got the patience to do it. I just can't be arsed. I want to, for me, I want to play the game, do the stuff, see most of the stuff, and move on to the next game because there's so many. But if, a lot of people want to spend time doing stuff, just do it.
Exactly, and that's where I am. Is well, all you got to do is look at my Twitter. That's the best way. I
haven't been going on Twitter because while I don't want,
you don't want
I know some of the Pokemon, because I looked at the spoilers, just the leaks, just to see the start of 3. Yeah. So I choose which one I preferred, and I still think all 3 are shit. It's funny because all 3 starters this gen, all 3 of them I think look really good in their first form. All 3 of them in my opinion, look shit in their final form. That's my opinion. It's not a hot take. I think they look shit, and but you were weird, and I think you just got a fetish for fucking water starters or something because God damn, that
I do. You're right. Every game has been the water starter.
But
I tried. What game was it? I tried one of the games, and I tried going grass starter. I had to restart my playthrough about 2 or 3 hours in. I was like, no, I can't do it. I had to go back to water. I think that was Sun and Moon I did that on. It's like, nope. I went back to water. So.
Let's see. There's a lot of chat in it. Matt said, personally, I'd argue the game could be better designed to limit how much you can be over leveled, but if it lets you, then it's not your fault.
Yeah, well, actually, sorry, on that, basically, it's a challenge I set myself. At the end of the day, when I completed, before I'd done my first badge, it said, up to level 20, your Pokemon listens to you. So I leveled everything to 20. That's the challenge. I leveled everything to 20. I hit the first gym. That then said up to level 30. So I hit 30. The next one, 40, did the same. So I'm setting my own challenge. Just because it means I'm overpowered hitting the next gym. The challenge is it's telling me I can go to level 50. At the moment, it's saying it says level 60 now before I hit gym 5. Great. Guess what I'm going to do before I hit gym 5? Do you know what I mean? It's because that's the challenge. I'm setting myself that challenge. Can I get my team? Yes, I know I can get my team to level 60. Do I have the patience to do it? That's the question. If I don't, if I get to level 55, 56 and go, you know what, fuck this, I'll just take the gym on. I don't care, But the point is, I like to set myself the challenge. The game's telling me I can go up to 60 before hitting the next gym. So guess what I'm going to do? That's how I play.
Yeah, why not?
It's the challenge. That's the challenge I set myself.
I can't remember what I was going to say now.
Sorry, I'm very I've got a lot to say about the whole Pokemon
No,
thing,
that's fair enough, man. I can't remember what I was going to say. Never mind. But yeah, Jawa says, terrific chat and view sharing tonight. Great stream. Well, at least for once someone has said one of the streams I'm doing is great. The first. So yeah, I'm enjoying the game. The issue, for me, one of the issues is because it's been streamed. I went to Gym 1, and then Gym 2 is literally 2 seconds down the road. Gym 3 is close. I think it's been streamlined a bit too much, and some things they have cut, and I know that's a problem for people. Dexit, I hate the fucking term Dex. I don't like Brexit. I love Dexit.
Yeah.
And that bugs me. It's I'm not bothered too much about the actual cut of Pokemon. Some Pokemon would be cool to see in there, I guess.
Yeah.
And some Pokemon, it's well, they've cut out something really cool for this fucking thing. I also, while I like the Galarian forms of stuff, it's they seem to be Gen 1 stuff again. And I really like Gen 1. But at the same time, it'd be nice if Game Freak would show some love to some other gens.
Well, actually, there is. There's a couple of Pokemon actually that have Galarian forms that aren't Gen 1. You got Casola. That's a Gen 2 Pokemon, I believe. And you've got Darmanian, which is a Gen 4 or 5 Pokemon that's got a Galarian form. So they are starting. I get what you mean, though, obviously.
But
I've got to be honest. I've just caught recently, just before I got to the location of the 5th gym, just caught a Galarian Ponyta, and I think I'm in love. And I've just evolved her to a Rapidash, so I think I'm even more in love. That thing is beautiful.
As I've said, it is one of the most boring Pokemon I've seen.
It's beautiful.
I just got no time for her.
If I was a male Rapidash, I'd smash.
No, honestly, I when it comes to Ponyta and Rapidash, they were interesting. Their mains were fiery and stuff. They were unicorns with fiery stuff. Now we've just got unicorns. What
unicorns?
What do you fucking do? I've seen unicorns in so many different things that look better. They've basically They've basically gone and looked at My Little Pony and gone, I'll stick one of them in.
Yeah. So the two forms
an everyday normal unicorn. Exactly, Matt. You know this.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, both the Ponyta and the Rapidash are up there with the Alolan form, Vulpix and Ninetales, in terms of they're two of the most beautiful Pokemon I think has ever been designed personally. And there are some really cool looking Pokemon, but in terms of just those two are some of the most beautiful Pokemon I've seen designed. I love the designs. I think they're great. I love their typing as well. I just think they're great. Yuba's just said, do we care for shiny hunting?
No,
I didn't up till Let's Go, because they made it really easy to shiny hunt on Let's Go, and I quite enjoyed that. There are ways of shiny. I haven't actually explored the ways to shiny hunt on Sword and Shield yet.
It's supposed to have a similar kind of thing to Let's Go, where if you keep doing it and catch them, it builds it up, which is kind of shit. Kind of takes the fun out of coming across a rare shiny. A shiny Pokemon, Jawa, is basically a alternate color for a Pokemon.
Color variant.
I know in what's gone funny. In one of the Pokemon games, it's got one. In every Pokemon game, it starts with a Pokemon. The professor going, "Hey, look, these are Pokemon." Blah 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 blah. And there's one. I can't remember. It's called like a Minichino or something. And I think it's 1 in 8,400 odd chance that will be a shiny version of that Pokemon. Yeah. So it's very, very rare that you see them. I think Doom was saying in all the time he's played the Pokemon games, only once he has seen a shiny Pokemon in the normal games in the wild, and that was before he had Pokeballs, so he couldn't catch it.
Yeah, that Rattata still haunts me to this day. So
I also saw at the same time Doom said that, I saw the Easy Allies playing the game, and they all saw a Rattata, which was shiny, but they had Pokeballs and caught it.
So Jawa, on top of it's a color variant, but they are very, very rare. In some of them are extremely rare because it depends on the circumstances.
Like trying to get can you get shiny legendaries in the normal games?
Yes, you can. But you've got to be extremely lucky.
So, if you was to save just before Mewtwo, say, I'm just thinking of a game off the top of my head. Pokemon off the top of my head. If you save just before Mewtwo and fight it, it's not shiny and reload, would it then change? Would you then have another chance? Or is it's stuck at that Pokemon?
No. As long as you haven't fought it, So, people were doing it with Let's Go, for instance. So they were approaching Mewtwo, and before engaging him in battle, they were saving, and then they constantly soft reset until they eventually got a shiny. But some of these shinies are like 1 in 8,000 chance. Sometimes there have been people that have been known to have to for the Mewtwo, for the shiny Mewtwo on Let's Go, Eevee, and Pikachu. Some people had to reset their consoles over 10,000 times so they eventually got it because they got unlucky. Some people got it in literally their first try. Other people, it was like a 10,000 resets until they got it. And some people stream it, which I think is nuts. That people, I get it. I get the excitement.
Doom, but fuck Sea of Thieves, 24-hour shiny hunting stream. You just go stand there, reset, and you switch over and over and over and over. You get a shiny something or other.
You know what? I would. If this charity stream goes well, I will be planning another one for maybe 6 months' time or something like that, or just before the baby arrives, or I'll figure it out. And I'll probably do maybe a Pokemon one, and maybe I'll do a shiny hunt. It won't be resetting though. I ain't doing that, but I might do maybe I'll do a 24-hour shiny hunt and see if I can pick anything up in Sword and Shield. But yeah, it's So shinies are.
I got some shinies on Pokemon Go. That counts. Got a shiny Latios. I think it's the only shiny legendary I've seen in any game. Cool. But that's Pokemon Go, so don't count. But yeah, I think because we went off on another tangent. You're terrible. You are, Doom. I saw you post on GRcade that this may be your favorite Pokemon. You still stand by that?
What? Sorry?
You said on GRcade that this may be your favorite Pokemon game. Is that right? I think you said on there.
Hang on, did I say that? I don't remember saying that. Where did I say that?
Someone said it on GRcade. I thought it was you.
Problem is, I forget a lot. Like, at the end of the day, I forgot that apparently I said Red Dead Redemption 2 was my game of the year, and then straight away in my next breath I said I didn't rate the game. So it shows you how. No, seriously, I promise you, I don't even remember endorsing it as my game of the year. I promise you, I don't endorse that.
I believe you, man. I
cannot
believe
remember. So so the chat. Maybe I did say it. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yes, it might have been someone else who said it. I don't think I said.
Yeah, I don't think I said it's my favorite. But I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's one of those things that it's more of a case of I hold Pokemon at a very high when I say high standard, high enjoyment level. Probably because of nostalgia, the build-up of nostalgia over the years just helps big time. So for me, it's more of a case of they're all on the same level of of enjoyment, and then something has to happen. And then it's more of a case of did I not enjoy the game rather than if you think maybe when the games come out they all start on a 10 out of 10 for me, and then depending on if anything happens in the game they might drop a little. Does that make sense? Rather than going up, they go down for me. So most of them are up there 10 out. Well, I say 10 out of 10. Don't take that literally, but you see what I mean. Is they're right up there. So Red, so Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 4, Gen and Sun and Moon, so Gen 7, they're all up there, and then the others aren't quite, if you know what I mean. I know it's a really weird way of looking, but that's how I do it. So for me, the one I enjoyed the least, and it was not that I didn't like it, I just enjoyed it the least, is Gen 3, including the remakes. They were fine, but I really struggled to get into that generation. Even the remakes, I just couldn't get into it. I don't know. I found a lot of the Gen 3 design Pokemon were a bit meh. I didn't enjoy them too much. The story didn't seem. I say the story as if you play Pokemon for a compelling story, but there just wasn't enough there to hold me to it. I don't know why, but I played it and it was good. I enjoyed it.
I
but
never
just
finished.
Not as much.
Speaking of a story, I never finished Sun and Moon because I'm shit.
Sun and Moon are great.
Yeah, I
Sun and
really
Moon are
enjoy. I was enjoying Moon. I just for some reason stopped playing it, and I'm enjoying this. But one thing is like I don't know if it turns out like there seemed to be stuff going on in Moon actually, but in this it doesn't seem to be like a proper villain.
Yeah.
So far, like Team Yell are just basically cheerleaders for a Pokemon challenger.
Yeah.
And which is fair enough. And she actually doesn't seem like a tit. She actually seems genuine. All right. The only thing I can think of is if like Rose is somehow dodgy or the woman working for him, and Bidet. I don't know how you pronounce his name really. I just call him Bidet. Bidet seems like a twat as well, so he's technically the villain.
Yeah.
He would have been Jawa if I was able to name my rivals and stuff in the game. That would have been Jawa.
Yeah.
So Jawa's a Bidet.
Yeah. So for me at the moment, I can't rate this Pokemon game because I haven't finished it and I haven't put enough time in yet to it. But I'm thoroughly enjoying it at the moment. So it hasn't, for me personally, hasn't put much of a foot wrong. Not enough for me to say I'm not dropping points for it yet. Maybe once I finished it, maybe once I've put like a couple hundred hours into the game and I can compare it to the other games I've put that kind of time into, maybe then I can say, you know what, actually in hindsight I'll drop it down a bit. But I hold them all at a high standard, and then they don't have to prove that they're good to me. They've got to prove that they're not as good, if you know what I mean. So yeah, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and I don't. If we go on to the subject of criticisms, it's the first. What I'd like to say about this is the first game I've ever been. I've got to pick my words here because I don't mean this as I mean this as a broad statement, but I'm not on about everyone. But this is the first game that I've been very disappointed in the community over. And I mean that as not the whole community, but as the loud minority of the community, if you maybe want to call it that.
The issue is I think more or less every fucking community has this.
Yeah, it is. And at the end of the day, Jawa had to put up with a lot of shit, I'm sure, with 76 because he's enjoyed it, and there's so many people. So many people hate on that game.
The thing is, though, is a lot of these games do get like the criticisms a lot of the time are genuine, but then there's some who go over the top about it. Yeah. It's like I can understand why some people are disappointed that there's not all the Pokemon in it. I can understand why some people are disappointed that moves have been cut from the game. I can understand like a lot of the complaints. Like the battle animation, they said they cut Pokemon to improve on battle animations and Pokemon models, and it turns out that they've actually used 3DS models.
Yeah.
So I think this is right. They used the 3DS models, but they made the 3DS models much better than what they needed to be, so they could future-proof them.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So it's like the people are complaining that they have been lied to about certain things, and I get a lot of the complaints. The thing I don't get is when they try to fucking get Trump to ban the sale in fucking from sale. Like, no one did that with Fallout 76. People laughed at people buying the game when there were so many issues with it, and people were rightly criticizing a lot of the issues, and I think that's fine. I think when it starts to get to the point where there's death threats and stuff, then that's an issue. But again, with Fallout 76, they fucked up so many different things, and they still fucking things up now.
Yeah, that personally, you know, if you, I know Jara, I think he invested in it, but you know, that $100 a year for a private server. I mean, if you get the enjoyment out of it, Jara gets obviously a lot of enjoyment out of the game, so I get it. But I'm sure even Jara understands. You could probably understand. There's a lot of people that I think the trouble is the dust hadn't really fully settled on the whole problems with Fallout 76. So for them to say, by the way, if you pay us $100 a year, we're going to give you a like, do you know what I mean? They're kicking up dust that hasn't even settled yet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think as a piss take, to be honest, $100 just to be able to play on your own.
Yeah, if you get enjoyment, I mean, at the end of the day, Jara gets a lot of enjoyment out of the game. So if it's worth it for him, that's great. But you can kind of see where there's a lot of
thing is though with old games, just because you enjoy it doesn't mean you people can't have these criticisms for that. There's plenty of games I like that people don't like and criticize, and there's a bit of an uproar about something. But at the end of the day, if I'm enjoying the game, fuck what other people think. But at the end of the day, at the same time, if people don't complain, like again, death threats and shit like that, if people don't complain, don't call up developers on stuff and publishers and stuff. Like a lot of the time, it is due to publishers more than developers. But if people don't call out these things, then honestly, they're not gonna do anything to change anything. They'll just carry on treating people like shit.
Yeah, I mean, it goes, like, I forgot what I was going to say then. I'm sorry, I just read what Jara said, and it kind of knocked me off my balance there. I won't go into Fallout first here, but there is more to it than the headlines of this MMO games cost. But yeah, the launch timing wasn't great, i.e. with the Wastelanders being delayed, so that didn't help. But yeah, sorry,
to be fair, most MMOs that do cost to run servers where thousands of people can play together online. They don't charge you $100 a year to say you can play on your own.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's like Microsoft saying to me, "Oh, we've got multiplayer in Halo. If you want to play the campaign, you got to pay $100 a year, or you got to play it with other people always." That's my take on it. I'm not saying don't do it. You do what you want. It's your money. If you're enjoying it, do it. But then you can't really say people shouldn't criticize the model because it's their right to do so.
Yeah, like you said, it's just when it gets out of hand. I mean, like I say with Pokemon,
when it gets out of hand, because that's the issue. When there's death threats and whatever else, that's a piss take. But at the end of the day,
like
people can have opinions. You can't stop that.
I mean, no. The one that, for me, the straw that broke the camel's back was, it was a YouTuber called the Dreamcast guy, I think his name is. I think he's quite popular, so I wouldn't be surprised if you guys have heard of him. Like, I think he's called the Dreamcast. Anyway, and so I watched it because he was ranting and raving about Pokemon Sword and Shield. He came out and said the game was trash. Right? This was the day before the game was out. He went out and said he was reiterating what everyone else has said about the game in terms of that they've lied and that they haven't built new models, they're using old assets, all the all the shit that we've already heard about it. He, yeah. So there you go. Yeah, his voice is quite annoying. But anyway, so he said, all he was regurgitating all the shit that the community have already like spat out, and then he went to say the game's trash. Right? This is what I don't get. He said the game's trash, and bearing in mind he's got a strong following, so people are going to listen to that. And then he said he hasn't played the game. He hasn't got a review copy. He was going to pick it up day one to play it. What right does he have to say the game was trash? Because he's listened to people and he hasn't even played it. Like, I don't understand that. And for me, when I say, like, as you said, he's entitled to his own opinion, but can you be entitled, just out of interest, it's one of those philosophical questions, and I'm not saying yes or no, but can you be entitled to an opinion when you haven't, like, in terms of games? Can you be entitled to an opinion if you haven't played the game?
Yes and no. I guess you can't outright say, well, the game is shit because you haven't played.
Yeah,
the game.
and that's what he was doing. That's what.
But
he
you
said
can
the game
say
was trash.
these issues that are a part of the problem are a problem. Then that you like, I wouldn't personally turn around and say, well, Fallout 76 is shit. I haven't played it. I've got the game. I haven't played it. I'm not going to say the game is shit. I'm going to say some of the things that have happened within the game are shit. Because they have happened. They are problems. But at the same time, I wouldn't say the game is shit because it could actually be quite fun.
Exactly. And this was the straw that broke the camel's back to me. He said the game was trash. They were his words. The game was trash. And then in the next breath, he says he's going to pick it up day one to play it anyway to kind of prove his point that the game's trash. But you can't say a game is trash if you haven't played it. You can criticize the whole Dexit thing. You can criticize the using old assets, but in terms of, if you look at the chat, at the end of the day, yes, they're using 3DS models, but those models that were for the 3DS were built in mind to be able to bring over to the Switch, so they were kind of already future-proofed. And then they haven't just upscaled it. They haven't just taken like the sprite. And well, they're not even sprites anymore. You know what I mean? They haven't just taken that and upscaled it and say that's a new skin. They have had so the basics, the skeletons there, which the basic models there, which is what they built ready to be able to port over to the Switch, because it's what do you call it? It's efficient. At the end of the day, it is about efficiency, and that's what they've done. But then they had to build brand new textures for the games. And to build, and I understand, to build textures for over 900 Pokemon, and then you've got to build textures for them to be placed in every potential situation. So every cutscene that involves a Pokemon that you might have, that's got to be included. Every Pokemon that you potentially have to Dynamax, which every Pokemon can be Dynamaxed, like, you've got to Dynamax overnight. You've got to build models for over 900 of that. Like, it's not easy. And then when a Pokemon company and Nintendo turn around and go, you've got no extensions, you must bring it out this time, you kind of, I get it. I personally have no issues with there not being the full Pokedex there, because honestly, I'm never going to be able to complete a 900 plus Pokemon Pokedex.
I'm not going to complete 150 Pokedex because I can't be asked. Like, again, it's not because the models don't look good, like you're saying, but since the models look great anyway, it's a non-issue to you and should be to others. I think the issue is because they had less, because they said they had to do so much more work with them, and it turns out that the work isn't as much as they made out, supposedly. I don't know. I think that is where the issue is, not the actual top models and the textures and the Pokemon themselves.
I think Game Freak maybe embellished the work that, like, they embellished on what they were saying they had to do, and I think that's come to bite them in the ass. I'm not going to deny that, by no means, because I think they maybe over-embellished what they said they had to do, and realistically it wasn't quite that. And I think that's where... And everyone's got every right to criticize that. I've got no problems. But like I said, when you've got influencers like YouTubers and that telling their followers the game is trash, and people are going to listen to that, and then they're going to generate their own opinion off someone else's opinion, which by this time, that Dreamcast guy, this is like... Yeah, so okay. It's not even second hand. It's third, fourth, fifth, sixth hand information now because it's getting spread like that. But then, you know, for people to come out to their audiences and say a game is trash, but not even play it, that's, you know, and if people would be very nitpicky. Yeah,
I've never played it.
People were very nitpicky in terms of, like, there was one guy on Twitter who was posting up video segments of the game, and he was zooming in like 4 or 5 times on like a little bit of background that would that when he was moving was tearing, but without zooming in you couldn't see the tear. So there were people getting a little bit over nitpicky like that, but hey, at least the guy's playing the game and he's doing that. You know, at least he's played the game, he's found a little fault. Yes, without zooming in 5-6 times you can't see it, but at least he's played the game, so at least his opinion, you can go, well, at least he's playing it, you know.
Joe says Ghost Recon Breakpoint is an interesting one. It got slated about microtransactions, but as I understand it, you can play through the entire game without spending on them. It's sometimes hard to see the truth, and as I say that as someone who dislikes the constant pay more for modern AAA games. The thing is with Ghost Recon, me and Doom spoke about it before, and I was of the opinion, as it is from what I heard about it, it was an optional thing, and that is fine to me. In some ways, I'd rather no microtransactions at all in games.
Yeah.
But that is a fine way. It was kind of like on the 360, you could pay to, instead of playing through the golf story to upgrade your character, you could just do it from the off. That's different. Games like, I think it was Shadow of War, which I think was changed eventually. It added, like, to finish the game properly, you needed to have loads of certain items which you could grind or buy, but the game was made like 20 hours longer if you had to do the grind for that stuff. That
it
is
was
when
2,000 hours longer.
I can't remember.
Somebody worked it out. It would have taken you like 2,000 odd hours to get the amount of.
But they fixed it like
needed,
But I think that's the biggest issue, is when a game has been made with transactions in mind originally, to then kind of like block you from progressing without spending money, or you have to spend a lot of time doing it, which then in turn makes you think, fuck it, I'm buying it, I want to get to the end of the game. That's when I have an issue with stuff like that. Breakpoint, from the sound of it, is just like, oh well, I want to play my game, I'm just going to get all my fucking stats up to max and just have a bit of fun. I think that is fine, personally.
Yeah.
In comparison.
But at the end of the day, and it's not a multiplayer game, so it's different if you're playing a multiplayer game and you're overpowering yourself then in competitive play. But it's a single player game. If you want to do that, by all means,
I think what they should have done is do a new roster, exactly like you said, but do it like Black and White. New roster for the first 150, and then only old stuff afterwards. It means they could concentrate on the new ones, and then maybe add in more as DLs, not paid DLs, but in updates and stuff.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, the models for L900 and something Pokemon are actually in the game. They're coded in. The actual models are coded in. It's just they haven't built the textures for them. So I'm not saying they will, because they probably won't, but there is nothing to say that they couldn't patch in Pokemon as they go. I doubt it, because let's be fair, they finished this game. Let's be fair, I'm going to go out there and say they're either doing a Let's Go Gen 2 game, which I would love. I would love that as much as the air I breathe. Or they're doing a Gen 4 remake, which I love just as much. Like, I've got no issues. But they've already got a team working on that, because that will be the game that comes out next year. So I kind of get it if they don't. I mean, Game Freak's not a small studio, but I wouldn't class them as one of the. I don't think they've got people. I don't think they've got enough people to throw at that. I think they've released the game with these Pokemon, and apart from event Pokemon, which they'll release, I think that's it, and I'm fine with that. There's like, how many Pokemon? It's like over 400 Pokemon to complete the dex.
I think it's 450
that's going to take
something.
Yeah.
Like
so I'm not being funny. That is more than enough. That is going to take me hundreds of hours to complete. So plus then I'm going to be breeding, because I enjoy.
I don't breeding. Know. I honestly, I think completing the Pokédex nowadays could be a lot quicker if you're just constantly trading online.
Yeah.
I think you could get a lot quicker in breeding and so on with other people's Pokemon could breed. And like I'm already at like, I think I've got like 100 Pokemon already. Something stupid.
Yeah, I've got 100, and I've seen 170.
I might be
something.
wrong. I might be much lower.
Yeah, I've seen like 170 something, and I've caught 150 something. So
There you go on, and that's 30 hours. So if you were to just evolve, trade, like I've had like a Gyarados was one of my very first surprise trade thingies. So you know, you can get some good shit. Jawa says, I think Jawa says, I think many YouTube gaming channels are designed around being controversial and being edgy to gain views. I would agree. But there are also many that don't, but just give a genuine opinion, and I think they sometimes get lost amongst the bigger streamy bastards. Ubellion says, they're glossing over how fine the models are, regardless of whatever, whether they're old or new. And being blinded by principle, more so letting that play in into the scope through which they experience the game proper. Yeah, I'm enjoying the game either no, but I can, like I said, I can understand the criticisms. At the end of the day, if they make it out that everything is being rebuilt from scratch because you know, and then it turns out they're only doing half the work. I'm not saying that's how much it might be. It's probably more, might even be less. I don't know. If they're only doing half the work, then they could have maybe done a bit more, is what people are thinking. But at the end of the day, for me personally, I don't care. I'm playing the game. I'm enjoying it.
Like, you're playing it at this moment in time. Okay, you haven't completed it. Does it feel any less of a Pokemon game than any of the other ones you played so far?
No, not really. I'd say it feels like it would. If I was to just play the game and level my team quickly and fly through, it seems like it would be a shorter game. Because the way the gyms are laid out, it seems quite short.
They are very streamlined.
I'm also not bothered with not taking my time, but I am playing it now.
What I would say is, this game is kind of, and I mean this in the broadest sense now, it's kind of gone down the Diablo route, and I'm not saying they're using Diablo as an inspiration. Where Diablo, the point of playing a Diablo game is you get in, you smash through the story as quick as humanly possible, and then your post game is leveling your. I mean, for Diablo, it's leveling your character as high as possible, and then taking on bigger and badder challenges by doing rifts and all this kind of stuff. Like, I kind of feel that's how that's kind of the way they're doing it this time.
I have
with
no
Pokemon
idea.
Is in terms of it's very, very streamlined, and there are people saying that they're completing the game in less than 20 hours, and which is that's fine. But then I think that's the reason why is so then the people put it this way: if you want to complete the game in 15 hours and then you want to go on and then breed and shiny hunt and competitive play, you can do that. But if you want to take your time and spend 30 hours doing 3 badges and getting your team overpowered like I am,
so be it. Yeah, it's fine. I don't mind what people do.
And that's what I mean is like the game is open enough. And like I said, yes, the game is more streamlined. And I would say the accessible world that is available to actually roam around in does feel a little smaller. That's not talking about the wild area. I love the wild area. The wild area is amazing. That needs to happen more. Like, then every other new Pokemon game needs a wild area, and it needs to be bigger and better I love that. But if you just look at the actual going from gym to gym, you've definitely got a lot less space to run around in that sense. Compared to other games, where other games there's multiple routes to get to where you want to go. It's kind of one route to get there, and there's not many. You don't kind of go off the beaten path very often. It is a lot more streamlined. So it is the smallest in that sense, but then the wild area vastly makes up for that, because the wild area, if you think about it, if you were to traverse it on foot, it's a big area. There is loads to, like I say, there's loads to see. There's loads of Pokemon to battle. There's loads of Pokemon to catch. The raids, I love the raids. Me and Cricken have jumped in quite a few over. Well, I say me and Cricken. Cricken's been jumping in on a lot of the raids I've been doing recently, and that's awesome. I thought that was so cool. I was doing a raid, and then Cricken pops up in my party. I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, that's cool. That is Do you know what I mean? Like, so I would say the game vastly makes up for that in its wild area.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Gar says, I must admit that I've got caught up in buying in-game items in Fallout 76. They could be so tempted when you enjoy a game. I have bought very little. I did buy some Rocket League keys before, and then I was like, nah, not doing it anymore.
I've invested in the pets in Sea of Thieves, but
I've also invested in the pets in Thieves. One pet in Sea of Thieves. I got a monkey. That's it.
Yeah,
I don't really like microtransactions, and a lot of the time I feel like I'm wasting my money. Like, to be fair, I have bought stuff in Pokemon Go, like bag upgrades and stuff. But I only get them after I earn money through the survey stuff on Google.
Yeah.
So I get the money. I don't actually use my money. I use the money for going, have you been to this shop recently? No. Oh, a couple of pennies. And then when it builds up, I'll buy an upgrade or something. That's what I did.
That's cool. Sorry, just say Cricket here says, I really like Sun and Moon, but Sword and Shield was enough of an upgrade in parts that it'd be kind of hard for me to go back to. A couple of towns are really small, but I was surprised at the scale of others. Lots of buildings to explore. Yeah, I would say that Cricket's right. In some of the towns, there are a surprising amount of buildings you can go into and chat to. And and the thing is, though, the game, it's kind of been designed in a way that, for me anyway, I was having this conversation. I think I mentioned it quicker. Every area I go into, I explore every nook and cranny possible before I move on. And some of those towns are quite big in that sense. Like, there's loads of houses, and every house is almost every house is worth going into, because you usually can find something, or they've kind of introduced little side quests in a way, because like one person in a town will kind of say they're looking for something, a certain Pokemon, or
I had that in like the first city place you go to, it's like, oh, you need to go near water, and you'll hear it. And I was like, I've run around loads of places. I haven't heard the Pokemon. I haven't found the Pokemon. That kid is never getting his Pokemon back.
But the point is, there's those little, there are those little side questy things, and they'll give you little rewards. That's great. You know, there's plenty of reason to explore, and I like that. You know, Cricken, just out of interest, did you play the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon games? Because I like those as well. I thought they were great, but I think he's right. I would struggle to go back and play the Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon games after playing Sword and Shield. People, you know, yes, the games are streamlined, and I like that. I like the fact that the games are streamlined. You know.
Well, that said, bit of a shame all the interiors seem copy and paste.
Yeah, it is like a new estate. It's just like new estates that have been built in it. Like, you can walk into every single one, they all look the same. It would have been nice maybe to vary them up a little bit.
Like I said, I'm enjoying the game. I'll probably do the same as I always do with Pokemon games, or at least since Gen 2, I think. Gen 3 onwards. I'll beat the game, as in I'll finish the league, do whatever little bit of post-game content's there, if I finish the game, which I will, because I'm streaming it. And I always finish the games I stream, to be honest. Whereas, like, with obviously the last 2 Pokemon games I had, I didn't finish, which was Omega Ruby and Moon, I think. So I didn't finish them.
Moon's a great game. You need to finish it. It's a great game.
Yeah, I will at some point. Not right now. I'm playing a Pokemon. I can't do too much Pokemon at once. So I will probably just do that, get the legendaries, and just stop. You know, like, I'll be me done, and then I'll move on to the next game, because I'm in the middle of playing like Hollow Knight as well, which I think if I finish the final boss, then I think it's the final boss. I'll finish the boss, and then I'll be cracking on with Yakuza 0. And then when I finish Yakuza 0, I've got to jump into Octopath. I'm planning on jumping into Octopath Traveler, and when I finish Octopath Traveler, I'll be jumping into Indivisible, which is something it wasn't Kickstarter, but it was a game I kickstarted years back. It's finally come out, and I'm like, well, I'm in the middle of playing these loads of games. I've got these games, and it's like, after waiting like 5 years, it's finally out, and I'm like, it's gonna have to wait. It's like,
yeah.
But once I finish this, I'll probably, various other. But I'm trying to play other games.
That's cool.
So
Yeah. See, for me, it'll take. Honestly, it's probably not. I'm not going to complete the game for another 20, 30 hours. Like, I could be at 50, 60 hours before I've actually completed the game. Honestly, I could be. But then even once I've done that, my next challenge will be breeding, getting the right natures, IV training. You know, I enjoy that. I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy getting a team together to do some battling, but it's never competitive in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really. Like I'm happy with just.
You know, I enjoy like battle, hence why I want to get a bit of IV. Yeah, but I've never, you know, I'd never take it seriously and do competitive play.
Oh God, no.
Like, you know, stinks. Don't know why. Love breeding. Take it out. But I love the breeding Pokemon, and kind of once I got loads of them, I end up giving away. I'll end up giving them away for free anyway in the surprise trade. So yeah.
That is fair enough. Is there anything else you would like to speak? Otherwise, I think we should end.
I'm pretty happy with how the conversation's gone. I think we've covered a fair amount regarding Pokemon, especially. What about you? Is there anything else you need to add?
No, other than that I'm enjoying the game. I think I've played it 3 or 4 times, and you know, put in about 20 hours coming up to, and it's quite interesting. And I hope something really cool happens.
Yeah.
Like, something really cool. Like the world gets sucked into a black hole or something. That'll be interesting.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe my dream will come true. Maybe Judgment Day rides on the sheets. You never know. I'm gonna happen. There's gonna be a Terminator crossover. I want it to be an Animal Crossing though, as we've discussed.
Well, I was going to say, are there any questions in general? But Matt has already asked. Favorite and least favorite designs? I'm assuming you mean in Pokemon and not in Stadia. So, what Doom that you have come across is your favorite and least favorite designs in this new Pokemon?
I assume we're talking about the Pokemon designs, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I didn't mean like the people. Here's about the people.
Yeah. This. Let me have a think. So, you know what? I haven't been like. I got to be honest. Pokemon design has been a little bit. I've been leveled with it a few generations. For me, the last Pokemon that I personally really enjoyed the majority of were Gen 4. So Gen 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they're fine. But Gen 4, that was the last one I really enjoyed. Gen 5, which is not most really from that point onwards, it got a little bit ropey, I found. But this in general, I returned to form personally. I like a lot of the Alolan Pokemon, but again, there was a few that I was a bit like. These though, I don't know why. I would say I think it's a bit of a return to form in terms of the Pokemon designs. My favourite, who's on my team that I really like? It's hard to say.
Doom's cutting out. Sorry, guys.
Can you hear? Is it?
It's in and out. It's in and out.
Okay, easily enough, you're at me as well. Connection seems fine. Yeah, I'd say Scorvanite is up there with some of the best designs of the new Pokemon. I love the new Ponyta and Rapidash as well. Surfetched is pretty awesome. Yeah.
I'm Surfetched.
Probably a little bit later on in the game then, I would have thought. But yeah, no, I would say
Surfetched is a
overall
sword
favorite. Yeah. I'd say overall, my overall favorite at the moment, bearing in mind I haven't finished the game, I'd say is Scorvanite. I'd say I think that's such a cool design for a Pokemon. He looks awesome. Giant steel raven.
Yeah, I really like. I do.
Corviknight, sorry.
Yeah, I like
Sorry, that's
Corviknight.
Corviknight.
I'm not a big fan of Applin. I think it's pretty shit, actually. I'm only got in my team because it's a dragon type, and I thought it'd be interesting to have, and it's shit. It's not, I haven't done anything yet. It's just like, there. I like Yamper. I also like its evolved form. I also like, the Toxic
Nickit?
something.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
Nickit's really cool.
Yeah,
As well
the
as
toxic
its evolved
one.
form. The toxic one is
Toxicity.
really cool. Yeah, but I also like the little
is
version of it.
awesome.
It looks like it's got a nappy
Yeah.
on and everything.
I forgot about him. I'd say him and Corviknight. Toxicity.
Does the version I've got, does it look different to the other version?
Which version have you got? Have you got the one with
Amped
the
up.
yellow hair?
Yeah.
Amped up. Yeah, so the low key form is looks different. He's blue. He doesn't have the crazy like hair, the crazy like spiked up hair. He's much more like looks grungier, but he's got blue hair in it's blue instead of yellow as well. And I think he's a special attacker. I think that's the difference. The amped up version is an attacker, and the low key form is the special attacker.
To be fair,
But
Matt, I think most
want
people
the
like
low-key form.
Applin. I haven't got the low key, I've got the amped up I have, so.
Yeah, I've got the amped up as well. I want the low key form. I'm gonna look out for that, definitely.
I've not caught the Teapot Ghost, I've seen it. I've
got
okay
one.
for either.
Sinisty.
Meh.
Sinisty. I actually think it's kind of cool, and the evolution of it is pretty cool as well. Funny enough, there's a forgery and a I like this. This is cool. So there's two versions of that Pokemon. There's the forgery version, and there's the I can't remember what they call it. Not official, but it's like call it the official version. And the official version is incredibly rare. Apparently, it's like shiny levels of rare. There's no difference between the two, apart from when you Dynamax the evolved form, because they're identical in every way. No difference to the stats, nothing. When you Dynamax it, on the bottom of the official one, there's an official stamp on the under part of the Pokemon, which you only see once you Dynamax. But I love that. I think that's so cool. That little thing, there's no difference, so it doesn't matter. But if you've got that one, that's the authentic. That's the one, authentic. I couldn't think of the name. It's got the authentic stamp on the bottom of it. It's just cool to say I've got one of those. There's no difference. It's like a shiny Pokemon, but it's real subtle. I like that. I think it's really cool.
Yeah. Tell you another Pokemon I like the look of is Roly-Coly, and
Roly-Coly, and it evolves.
Yeah, I think I prefer the first two forms to the final form. Roly-Coly, Colossal, yeah. I think I prefer the first two forms, Roly-Coly, and I can't remember the other one, but it looks like a minecart, the face on it. But I still like Colossal as well.
I really like
generally speaking, I think the majority of the Pokemon... Like, I'm not a big fan of the Apple, but I don't think it's a shit Pokemon. I think it's alright. You know? And the Teapot one, I only don't like because I don't like tea. It's like, fuck that tea. So generally speaking, I think the designs for the majority of the Pokemon I've seen are actually alright. The issues I have are with the starting three who just get worse as they evolve.
I'd say it's a real return to form for Pokemon design, personally.
Yeah. Until we come across the, which I personally I don't like, is a Grimer, a Mach, or Trubbish, and a big Trubbish.
Oh, Garbodor.
Wow. Crappy crap. Yeah. So yeah, there any other questions you lovely people in chat would like to ask us before we head off to bed? Separately, I would like to ask.
Damn. God. Foiled again.
And yeah, earlier on, Jasm said, "Ooh, I like the tunes." I think he said, "It's Pretzel. I have a subscription to it, which I got from a bundle, I believe. I think I also have Monster Cat and stuff as well, but this is the one I This is the one I redeemed and
Or was
used.
this like royalty-free music?
Royalty-free music, yeah. I think
Cool.
without paying for the subscription ads and stuff. So, and
Yeah,
I added
cool.
part as a bundle. It's like every so often they do a streamers bundle, and you'll get like several months of XSplit Premium, or whatever it's called, and things like this, and then other things you can use for streams. And it's like, yeah, I'll go for that.
Yeah. You've said Garbodor. What do you think inspired this Pokemon?
Garage.
Literally shit. Yeah.
No, it's a garage. They said, what could we design a Pokemon on? And they said a garage, and then they made it look like a trash bag with bits coming off it, and said, look at my garage.
Yeah. It's some horrendous. Like I said, was that? I can't remember which gen that was. Was that Gen 5?
I don't know.
wasn't it?
But it's obviously garbage and older Garbodor.
Yeah, it's shocking. Should I tell you another Pokemon while we're on that subject? Another Pokemon that a lot of people seem to like the design of, and I can't get behind it. I think it's a cool Pokemon, but I cannot get behind the Alolan form of Muck and Grimer.
Oh, I like them. Much better than the original.
Yeah. See, I prefer the original. I love
The
the original.
original, they're just shit. They're just blobs. It's like saying I don't like Trubbish and then saying I like Grimer and Muck. It's like, this is bad. They're just as fucking bad. It's just a blob with eyes. Wow.
I really like it. I don't know why, but I can't. I'd still use them. I wouldn't not use them because I like Muck, but the Alolan form, I don't know. Just
I like it. I think it looks much cooler. The green and then the multicolor stuff and the weird fucking teeth just makes it look like a more aggressive, cooler looking Muck. Whereas the other Muck just looks like a blob with eyes. It's like,
Yeah, Cricken said he does prefer the simplicity of the original versions. Maybe that's
yeah. I like the boring plainness of a blob.
Matt here has just said, should Game Freak make a Pokemon called Gamblor?
Does it have cards and then make them explosive and throw them at things?
I was thinking of it being like a floating, what do you call those wheels? The ball, like you flick it around and the ball lands in the number. I can't remember what it's called.
I was thinking more of gambling.
Yeah. Struggling to see to trace Klefki's origin too. Let's have a look.
I think Klefki was based on Kefka from Final Fantasy VI. I think that's his name. Crazy bastard.
Yes. Are there any other questions before we wrap up?
I wondered why Cleffy was so genocidal.
What do you guys hope for in the next Pokemon game? Ooh. Pedz, do you want to go first? Shall I go first?
You can go first.
Okay, so if we're talking about literally the next Pokemon game, which will be next year, we're either going to see Sinnoh remakes, because for me, honestly, Gen 4, I know there's a lot of people that don't like it. Gen 4 is one of the best gens for me. I love that. Loved it. So we're either going to see a Gen 4 remake, which I'd be, again, pig in shit. I'd be absolutely delighted for, or I wouldn't be unhappy with a Let's Go 2, or whatever they want to call it. Let's Go Marill and Let's Go Pichu, or I don't know, whatever they want to call it.
Please don't. Those specific Pokemon. Please don't.
Yeah. But if they do that, and again, you know, I loved the Let's Go, the look of the Let's Go games. I love them. I love the look at it. That more traditional top down, but like, you know, all those assets. It's like it's a remake, isn't it? Basically, if they do that for Gen 2 next year, I would not be unhappy at all.
In a way, I'd like them to do that if it means that they've got a bigger team on the proper Pokemon game then, because it means they can put more time and money and research and stuff into it.
Yeah.
Marill Street. The thing is, Jawa, is Let's Go is enjoyable enough, but I think you would enjoy the newest Pokemon game because it's streamlined. Yeah, you battle Pokemon, but at the same time, for me personally, it's a lot better than throwing a Pokeball and then wasting 10 Pokeballs, and then the Pokemon runs off, and you're like, oh, I literally got nothing for it. And compared to, oops, I accidentally killed a Pokemon, at least I got some XP. You know? It's more rewarding to play than Let's Go, and I think, personally, so. But I think you would enjoy it because it's streamlined a lot. Honestly, I think for me personally, I want them to add in some of the stuff they've taken away from previous games that work. Like the day and night cycle is gone again. Right? What the fuck? You know? Oh yeah, I always say I killed that Pokemon. I always say it fainted. I say it's dead. I kill Pokemon in my games.
I was going to say,
knock them out.
Day and night cycle are in these games.
Are they? Because I've been in several areas where it's daytime when it's in the night. I stream in the nights and it's daytime all the time.
Yeah, the wild area is where it follows the real time.
Yeah, I mean like the proper, you know.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, in the actual areas, I think it's predetermined, but the wild area is. Oh
yeah, most streams I've been into before Pokemon came out, and the question was which you get in Pokemon Shield or Pokemon Sword. Every single poll I've seen is Pokemon Shield. Pokemon Shield is the one that everyone I've seen is say buying it or bought in big polls. Like it's always the majority is Shield.
Yeah, I was going to say Pokemon Sword outsold Shield by a fairly big margin in the UK. So Pokemon Sword was first, Pokemon Shield was third, and there was I say fairly big. They both had really good sales, but Sword really outdone Shield in the UK. So, but yeah, you said, people dogged on it. I really like the legendary for Shield design. I think he looks awesome. I think he looks like a Zord from Power Rangers.
He looks shit. Without the shield, I think it looks fine. With the shield, it looks shit. Pokemon Sword is legendary is better. It's as simple as that.
But yeah.
I still just don't get why they went for wolves anyway. What the fuck, like? Maybe I'm wrong, but what the fuck has wolves got to do with Britain? The legendary should have been a dragon and a pit bull. No, an English bulldog. There you go. An English bulldog and a dragon. I would have gone for the dragon Pokemon.
Matt here says, is the 2-game concept outdated? Honestly, I think
Sif
it is.
The one.
It is outdated, but
fucking right it is.
I honestly, I only let it get away with it because it's Pokemon. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not even going to deny that I let it get. If there was any other game, I'd be moaning and bitching about it. So I can't say. I'm being totally honest. Because it's Pokemon and it's just the tradition, I can't deny that I let it get away with it.
There used to be a 3-game concept: red, blue, yellow, gold, silver, crystal.
Yeah.
Originally, the game from what I heard, I don't know if this was ever turned out to be untrue. Originally, it was meant to be originally when they planned it, it was meant to be blue, red, green, and blue you start with Squirtle, green you start with Bulbasaur, and red you start with Charmander.
Oh, okay.
Don't know if that was ever true, but obviously in Japan it was red and green, it was not red and blue.
Yeah. Sorry, I think was it Jazz?
Yeah, I agree with those. 2 Pokemon games at once is kind of pointless when you can trade online. You may as well just start playing. I reckon they should just release 1 game. They don't need to release 2. I think maybe though, while they do it, because maybe more people will buy the 2 different versions, because if people maybe are interested in trading or something. I don't know, but at the end of the day, I don't like it. I don't. And another company would do it. People would kick up such a stink.
Thing is, though, I think when I say I let Pokemon get away with it, I do, but there's a certain, again, I think it's a nostalgia thing, but I think there's a certain conversation it brings, like on the build up to a new Pokemon game. It's like, oh, what version you get in, what exclusives you get. Like there is, for me, there is that excitement behind it. Oh, what version am I going to choose based on what? Like I like that conversation it starts. Like, I'm not saying it's not outdated, because it is, but
yeah, Sword and Shield. No, that's even more ridiculous. Is they even like gated off 2 gym leaders? I think it's 2. I know it's definitely 1, but I know there's 2 gym leaders at a different niche version. That is fucking a piss take. That is a fucking piss take. I'm sorry, it really is.
Would you rather have seen 10 gyms instead of 8 this time and have all the gym leaders in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the one thing Shield have got over Sword, is one of the gyms I prefer to the one in the opposites for I prefer in Shield. But otherwise, I prefer the other stuff. Though I think Tyranitar is in Shield, and I like Tyranitar as well.
Tyranitar is in Shield, yeah. Yeah.
But he hasn't got Surf Action, so.
Yeah. Should I say the only thing, regardless of just going back to one of the question from Jasmine, the only. I don't mind if it's a Let's Go or if it's a remake. From Jazz. Oh, whoever it was who asked the question earlier, I don't know who it was. Either way, the point is, I'm not going to look. Either way, it was the person who was asking what we want to see in the next Pokemon game.
Oh yeah, it was Jazz. Sorry.
Yeah. So whether or not it's going to be a Let's Go or a whatever, the only feature I wish they would permanently put into the game is the fact that a Pokemon follows you out of the Pokeball. Like the Let's Go games do it, obviously. But I know why they do it, because again, their argument is if they do that, they have to create a model that is a working model for every single Pokemon, because every Pokemon could be out of the Pokeball. Do you know what I mean? So I get why they don't do it, because they'd have to do it for 900 Pokemon. So I get why they don't do it, but I love it.
In this game, though, haven't they already got models of Pokemon walking anyway?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because they have models of... I don't know if anyone else... Like, if there's cutscenes, like you said, with Pokemon walking in there, they'll be walking in there.
Yeah.
There's also the bit where it's like, hey, do you want to go do a job? They walk in there.
Yeah. But it's the way that model has to interact with the world. It's not just a walking animation. It's there. But yeah, so I want that more. I want that every Pokemon game. Like, please have a following Pokemon. I know it won't happen.
Didn't they do it first in Gen 2, or I'm imagining that?
No. So Pokemon Yellow was the first one that did it.
Yeah, with Pikachu. I'm on what with all Pokemon.
All Pokemon. The only game that's done it with all Pokemon was the remakes of Gen 2. The original Gen 2 didn't do it. It was Heart Gold and Soul Silver. They're the only ones that have done it with all Pokemon.
But yeah, it's a little bit of a shame that that's not in there. Like I said, some of the things that they've cut from previous games, they put all in. And honestly, if they expand the world a bit, like, yeah, I know a lot of people are saying like it's quite short, and you know, it's quite a dense area with lots of Pokemon. But they could spread the Pokemon out more to like, even if they double the size of the game, as long as it's interesting, they double the size of the game, they double the amount of Pokemon, you're still gonna have the same amount of Pokemon in each area. You're just gonna have more areas.
Would you? Ooh, here's one. Question on people in chat can answer this one as well. Would you eventually like to see a Pokemon game where what we got, like the routes, everything, like you still have the routes to get to individual things, but it's all full open world and it's all one big wild area. So you see other people around, just imagine the wild area now, but it's routes. So you get to and from all the towns, but it's one communal area that you go back and forth. So you still got your routes in terms of, but all the routes are one big area. Or are you happy with solo things and go and do the
I don't know. One of the issues I have as well is some of the issue. Like, I was walking around in the wild area and I was online, and it can be quite choppy at times anyway, but it was literally freezing up at times.
Yeah, it is a little bit. Performance isn't great.
No, it's quite bad. It was literally freezing up.
What you got to remember is that will be improved on. That's what I'm saying is, ideal world, imagine if it was working well. Like, I just would like the idea of,
I don't know, because at the same time, it's like, if you go fully open world, it's going to be kind of like Zelda Breath of the Wild and lose a lot of its direction.
Yeah,
maybe.
That's a good point.
Because they'll have to open it so any gym you go to,
is available. You're right.
Everything will be available, and
yeah.
So I don't know.
You've got the fear. You've got the fear of potentially losing its part of its identity.
I've just clicked on my phone and I had an email pop up. You've been selected to join Project Xcloud. Oh yay! I don't like playing on small screens, but I'm gonna play on my Xbox when I'm waiting for the kids from school tomorrow. I'm just gonna be playing on my fucking Xbox while I'm waiting. I'm not.
There you go. You got it.
It's cool because I already set up the app anyway. Because I set up for in the house streaming. Like the other day, I was like, "Oh, the streaming app." I assumed it was the same thing, and I was like, noticed it today. I was like, switch to Xcloud. It's like, right. Wrong thing. There you go.
Well, funny enough, Cricken here has said that they could have the strength of the gym based on how many badges you have.
That could work.
So maybe you could do a big open world thing where, like all the routes are connected into one big wild area. But so you could go to any gym.
Do you know, Matt said in theory the Pokemon, it could work because the gym's level. But what I was going to ask Cricken was, because he's played it, is do you remember that Pokemon Crystal game you play? Pokemon Silver, Crystal, whatever it was called. It was called like...
Crystal Clear.
Crystal Clear.
Crystal
is
Clear.
That how it worked in that? Oh, Cricken was typing it as I was saying it. That's how it works. So yeah, and I watched you stream that, and that was fine. So yeah, that could work quite well. So I think that would work, yeah. Unless they put in a...
so maybe it could work.
The only thing I wouldn't know how they would work is if they did have a Team Rocket or a Team Aqua or a Team Magma or a Team fucking whatever. Because then obviously you have your story beats. But at the same time, a lot of the stuff they could have, like they could have people turn up in certain places. If it's fully open, like Pokemon, like Zelda Breath of the Wild, for example, they could have, maybe after you get a certain amount of gym badges, like Matt was saying with the Pokemon, that's when a Team Rocket person would show up for some nefarious reason, that kind of thing. So it would still.
Because the thing is, though, you could, in order to stop in order to stop the over leveling thing, you could just have the world like with Crystal Clear. The world scales to you, so the stronger you get, the stronger the opponents get anyway. So do the wild Pokemon. So that could also work. So it means like if you can team up with a friend to take on a battle, at least it's one of you's not going to be OP in that. There's lots of opportunity there, I think. Yeah,
no, I agree. Like I said, a couple of things that have been removed I'd like to see back. Like the day and night cycle, I've not even noticed it being there, because it always seems to be daytime for me even when I'm playing at 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So, a couple of other things like the Pokemon, stuff after the games seem to have cut back on that, I think. I can't say for certain I haven't finished the game. Bye, Jawa. Nice. Thanks for tuning in, man.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, Jawa.
So, yeah, hopefully they expand on the world a bit and make it, I like that things are streamlined, but I wouldn't say they've streamlined too much, but they've made it too, the wild area is cool, but the actual getting to the gyms and stuff is kind of shortened. So I think they need to make it a bit more... They need to get the balance right, basically. If they get the balance right, then you sort it.
I'd say they have taken... Yeah, I'd say maybe it could be argued that maybe they've taken a little bit too much of the adventure away. I'd say that's a fair thing to say, because it's so streamlined. The adventure to get to each town is kind of gone. Like, when you always have to tackle like the caves, and you'd always be a pain in the ass, but it's always really satisfying to finally get to the end of the cave after getting lost, and like that was part of it, you know. And it's not so much anymore. So yeah, you know, I would say maybe the sense of adventure's gone a little bit.
Cricken says, minor complaint. Don't like how they let you buy uniforms, but don't let you choose which one to pay during gyms.
No, but the uniforms you buy, the uniforms you buy are for casual wear, so you can still wear them when you're out and about. But yeah, you just can't wear them when you're doing the challenge. So
still a bit shit. For people who bought them specifically for that.
I'd point out my favorite, the favorite uniform I found so far is the poison uniform. It looks amazing, so I bought that. So I wear that when I'm out in the world.
The only thing I've done when it comes to gear in that respect is I changed my hairstyle. I was like, I don't like my hairstyle, and I removed the hat, and then I just put on it. I just changed my hairstyle back to the starting hairstyle, but made my hair blue. I was like, yeah, I'll just walk around like that.
That's cool.
Yeah. That's it.
Oh dear.
Because it's like I remember people saying, there's quite a few customizable options in this game, and it really isn't very.
It's no difference to X and Y.
Yeah, but this is another thing they should be adding on to it, not making it the same. I think. Like, I don't expect them to add millions and millions of options, but it seems to be not very many. Like
something. Sorry, I do think we need to wrap up because I'm getting absolutely shattered. But one thing I would say is, I'd like it instead of a predetermined character. It'd be kind of cool if you could create your own character.
Yeah,
just saying.
Yeah, like with the options from what's that MMO called?
You think it is a Pokemon one? The
no,
Pokemon MMO.
No, the MMO that I saw you stream once. What was it called?
Oh.
On the Xbox, it was Gamepass.
Oh, Black Desert.
Desert. Black Desert. It needs to have the customizable options of Black Desert.
Yeah, Club Penguin.
My kid, I think I was into that back years and years and years and years ago. I think it was.
Yeah.
But I've never. Oh, I'm sure. Anyway, I think that's it, as it is 1 minute to 12 o'clock. I didn't realise myself. So it's like, we're going to go in a minute. And we've been here for another hour since, I think. Because it's like, we've been streaming for nearly 3 hours, and I was hoping to keep the time a bit close to... Like, I was thinking, we're going through this pretty quickly, or maybe Doom be up for some Stardew Valley afterwards. But
I'm going to bed.
Yeah. Right. So that is going to be it from myself and Doom. Let me just change to the bye-bye screen. So, we are going to be back hopefully Sunday, if it's not too soon. If not, it'll be the Sunday after, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I think hopefully Sunday should work.
We'll see what news pops up. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. It's been a pleasure as always, and I think tonight has gone... I think tonight has gone pretty well, actually, and people seem to have been quite happy with the chat. You know, it's always fun to do these, and hopefully we'll be doing a lot more. We'll be doing one every day. We won't be doing one every day. Catch you later, guys.
All right, so just quick plug. Remember, 24-hour stream. If you're interested in donating or helping me promote it, links are on my Twitter at the Doom Spoon or on the GRcade. I've got a thread in there. So if anyone's interested in helping me either donate or share that, which is happening a week Friday, the Sea of Thieves 24-hour stream, just PM me and I'll give you all the links that are required. Okay, that's everything.
Okay, bye guys, and don't forget to check out grcade.co.uk.
Love you, bye.
Bye-bye.